adventurous day once again as we get into the final 2 hours here, back to the downside for the overall market. It's been a roller coaster of a day. As we saw yesterday, we started initially higher. We test the lows, go back up, and then down again. But here we are, back to the downside, 1.6 currently for the S&P 500 to the downside. A few notable names still on this board, including Disney, 13.5% to the downside today. What a mess Disney has been all day long. There's been absolutely no bounce. We'll get into that a little bit more specifically coming up here. Meta, 6%, meanwhile, upside as job cuts finally come through, as promised from Zuckerberg and co. Warner Brothers, WBD, 5% to the downside here. Communications, I'm focusing on this because communication stocks have been among the lead decliners all day long, along with these. Tech stocks, downside big time. ACAM reported better than expected, but hardware names, semiconductors down here. Look at AMD. AMD is down 6% right now. 5.7 there for NVIDIA. Yep, oh my God. ON Semiconductor and Micron even. Big time negativity. Look at these as well. Consumer discretionary names under pressure. 8% for NCLH. Remember, it was up almost 7% going back a couple days ago off earnings. CCL downside big time. Tesla, 6.25%. Downside big time. Some of the homemakers here, Lennar and DHI, catching a bid today. But the only real green spot right now in the overall market is healthcare, as far as the group is concerned anyways. Pharmaceutical names and healthcare equipment makers, both pretty much positive on the day. There are a few negative outliers, but yeah, one of those days, once again, where we're back to the downside in a big way, under pressure here. 1.6% currently for the S&P 500. I was going to show you this as well. Yeah, we are still 1.97 right now for the NASDAQ. This is a little delayed, but you get the picture. Big time negativity. Look at this, 11.2% for Bitcoin. I mean, this is off the lows, but still 13% for Ethereum. We're going to touch on the latest happenings with FTX and Binance and the outcome, I guess, which is big time negativity below 17,000 for Bitcoin as we get in here or bring you in for the afternoon. Hope your afternoon is going well. What a day it's been. Tons of opportunity, tons of earnings to deal with this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, we touched on a whole bunch of them. We'll do a bit of a review to kick things off, as we always do. Where were the trades? How did you execute? Where can we always look to do better tomorrow? Neil's going to lead us this afternoon with a look at one of his trades.
Yes, sir. Your trade of the day brought to you by Day Trade the World. As always, get your day trading journey started the right way. Check that QR code below. But it's going to be Robinhood. There could be lots of opportunities out there. There were a lot of fantastic ones here today. But Robinhood, SPF, gets rid of his stake, almost certainly liquidating it after just the crazy moves that we've seen happen with FTX and with the Binance potential bailout, which we now know might not be happening. So Hood getting absolutely smashed. You had a monster move in yesterday's trade. Like this, look at the wick on the, like you were going up after earnings here. And you were actually looking like you were trying to break out, but you had that one death candle at 12 bucks, all the way down through 10 bucks, $10. Actually closed below $10. But there were some levels to watch here today, and obviously lower high at 8. I didn't even bother with a $7 line because I didn't think we'd even get there. Then you got this $9 higher low. And then simply the previous, going into yesterday, we got right at the bottom, down about 950, and then you had a double bottom at 950 when you zoom in a little bit further. If you look at the 15-minute, that was going to be the level. So pretty much it wasn't that complicated of a trade, except actually getting into it when it broke at the open. It took out, there's your 950, it took out that pre-market low, and I didn't get in. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You've missed out on one of the better opportunities out there in the overall market. Well, if fortune gives you a second chance, you're taking it. The second there was any kind of a pop, like you just want to be net short. Now, yeah, I like Coinbase as well. That was like short any pop you could get. But this was different because the flush was so big right into 920 that you had to be willing to grab this in that 35 to 40 range. That's the best you could get. Getting in that when you understand how significant a breakdown trade it is, and you are willing to go all the way back into that 50 when you catch that fill. Now, obviously, that puts 1-to-1 at about 9.10 there, that 25 cents or so. So I do favor usually getting some out 1-to-1. opportunity for a bit of a refill at the exact same price. That was a quick reload there if you had an opportunity to do it. I wasn't quite quick enough. At this point, when it was testing back upside, that's where I was reloading Coinbase. Kind of hard to do two things at once in the same space, but you do get this nice clean channel break. And once you make another channel break to the downside and you want to be net short, sometimes you cannot be afraid, if it's trending up, to buy high, sell higher. If it's trending down, to sell low and buy back even lower. You can't be afraid of the low of the day. And when it took out 9 even, there's your break, already taking some in the 880 range. And this time when it comes back up, retests the previous low at 910. It's shorting off of that 910. Take some out at that low of the day, 890, and then it's off to the races. This is where it comes back to where do you want to hold on to that last little bit, and it's very simple. You're looking at that huge gap. It's $8 into $9. I like to cut it in the middle. There was not the momentum on any part of this break that resembled the open. So I'm looking at that 850 level. I take it out that 850. I don't know that there was a strong enough pushback to the upside to make me want to reload this one here. If anything, I would have been looking for that $9 level. But as I speak, it didn't end up taking out 850 and got to 840. And the lesson is, if you think a stock is strong enough or weak enough, you've got to be willing to structure a way in, even if you miss that initial breakout or breakdown trade. And then as it's trending, sometimes you can't only short a significant pop. Sometimes you have to find entry points that are on that way down. The $9 even break area, that's not that complicated because it's a nice round number, and it gives you a 950 break to 9 to 850. Sometimes you keep it simple, stupid. There's your trade of the day on Robinhood. I know this is going to be a wild one for the next few days and weeks upcoming. As always, brought to you by Day Trade the World.
Yeah, more fallout, no doubt, for crypto markets, for Robinhood, for Coinbase, as well as we saw this morning. Unbelievable negative pressure right across the board for these coming off of the FTX headline. So there you go. On the watch list this morning, make sure you grab that every single day. We send it right to your inbox on a daily basis. All you got to do is hit that link, enter your email address. You're good to go. It just appears then for free every single day. A couple things to note here as we kick things off for the final 2 hours on a Wednesday. Still not much clarity as far as the midterms go. The market seems to have shrugged its shoulders and moved on. Sliding, however, as we saw. But I want to mention Tesla here because another day, fresh 2-year low here coming into play for Tesla. This morning we learned of more share sales from Elon, about $4 billion worth this time to close that Twitter deal. So we'll touch on Twitter. Twitter's making all kinds of news this afternoon, including Twitter Pay, which we'll discuss. Potentially Twitter Pay coming to a wallet near you. This was the main focus, though, as I mentioned, midterm elections kind of ho-hum, I guess. Really no clear indication yet at this point. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a better idea, but no clear indication yet as to how Washington will make decisions going forward over the next 2 years. I want to kick things off, though, with this one. It's not all bad. Meta has been pretty good, in fact, all day long. Holding higher here, guys. Trying to get back above 101.50, 102 right now.
Yo, what's up? Great trade on Robinhood there. That was kind of an easier trade today. We'll talk more about FTX coming up soon.
Yes, sir.
Meta seems to be a little bit of a trickier trade. We written down here on our sticky note today that we just really wanted the 100 long. So you could see that right here. And again, it sucks, right? Like we talked about them losing cutting 11,000 jobs. That's not a great sign for anybody. But some of the biggest, or one of the only complaints, really. I mean, it's the spend that Meta's doing, right? I mean, we could say, hey, we don't like the privacy issues. We don't like, the kind of information that they disseminate and things like that as they try to clean it up, whether or not it's for minors, Instagram, Reels, things like that. There's lots of stuff, hindering Meta. But all in all, they're still bringing in the money. The problem is the spend. And they're not the first company to come out and say that they're cutting their workforce. They're actually one of the last companies here. We've already had that from Google, from Microsoft, from Tesla. Excuse me, I'm not sure about Tesla. Amazon. We've heard Uber and Lyft not hiring as many. Okay, here we go. Meta's starting to go upside right now. We're long Meta. I have to take a piece out there. That was a big move to 82 there. But let's just look at it. We wanted to go long today for simple reason is finally, maybe they've got their costs under control, right? And so when we hear stuff like that, you know, that's a reason to get bumped up. I mean, maybe Zuckerberg is finally listening to some of the shareholders there, talking about getting things back under control. So let's see, man, 11,000 jobs. I mean, if you're paying everybody 100 grand a year, or I don't know where these jobs, what sector or what part of Meta they're coming from, but either way, it's good. They need to save some cash, man. They're blowing over $10 billion already on this supposed metaverse that nobody cares about. So I think this is a move in the right direction. We were long early, man. We took advantage of that. Then you guys saw me shorted in the midday show, or on the, not the midday show, later on during our first show there, 105, 104.50 we shorted. We got some nice outs back to 103. We tried to short again up there at the high of the day. That didn't work, got stopped out real quick. And then just now we're long again. So we went long off 102. Now it's back up to 102.70. You can see the price I have, 102.38. It's not a great price, but still nicely done upside here in the money. So yeah, man, Meta definitely working higher here. And you know what? I can officially say this. I messaged my father today, and I was like, yes, Meta finally above 100. We waited and really dip bought this a lot lower than where it is now, but I don't think we're in the clear with this stock, but it's definitely nice to see. Remember, man, those daily active users aren't going anywhere. They just need to figure out a way to get their spend under control, and if and when the metaverse ever starts to work out, they're going to get paid out, right? They're going to be the leaders there, and let's just see what happens. Roblox getting killed today, that's another Meta play, and Meta's actually up. So normally, with a Roblox disappointment like they did, I would have thought Meta could have got hit on that, but it remains to be upside. It's so amazing that they can gain like a couple $100 million, if not more than that, in market cap. Well, it is more than that because they're up 6%, just because they're laying off 11,000 employees. But either way, Meta working right here.
Yeah, I think part of it comes to like a lot of the reason why they were getting beaten up this last salvo was the spending, right? So if that was the reason, and then they cut the costs, and that's what the market was looking to see, it's held support all the way up. And I have one line left in because I got to show it to you. It got to 105, and it was right at noon. It was a patented entry that the longs off 100. Into holding out for that 105. I ended up getting 104 on the last out. It is what it is. It got close enough. I put the trail on. It trailed me out. It bounces off VWAP. It goes up to 105. But then here's the entry point. It should have been the entry point. 104.90. So there's your test at the top. There's your consolidation. There's your 104 half. Wasn't at the desk, and we talk about the opportunity cost of not being at your desk. We do have meetings and this and that that we do when we're not on the show, or you could just be in the bathroom when it happens. But that's the entry point. Not necessarily on the way up because it's a strong stock, but then it gives you that pullback. I did try this 102.50, very tight stop with it. Wasn't willing to give it too much room. I think I lost about like 10, 15 cents on this trade. And now I like this 102. That's where it broke out from before. I want to be pretty patient with any longs. I like that, and we're not going to talk Apple, so we'll just get this one out of the way. Because Apple has held 135 several times this afternoon. I heard Trader Prad talk about it, so I'm on board with that one as well. I am trying to still get some Robinhood short, because the 850 break on Robinhood, well, I crossed to 45 and didn't get it because it's short sell restricted. It came back, and then of course I don't get it on the way up. I try to get in on the way down on Robinhood, and then don't catch that fill. Because it's easy. You got to get this on the way up. Like, you need an uptick there. So next, I'm going to sit here at 45, and then just, if it comes up, hopefully get taken with me. Because short again at the bottom, it's worked so far. Until it stops, I want to get back on this train.
We did make a new low there, guys, on Bitcoin below 16,500. There was a bounce that came in as well. But the Wall Street Journal picking up on this story, essentially, that Binance will likely walk away from this FTX deal. So we'll continue to keep an eye on headlines in that regard as the afternoon goes on. As we said, we're going to discuss all things crypto coming up here in a little bit. But let's talk Twitter Pay. I saw a chart actually last night of the frequency of Elon's tweets since he took over Twitter, and it's just parabolic at this point, essentially. It's up to, I think it was on average, 25 per day. And that was up from about 5 or 6 on average that he used to tweet. Anyways, yeah, Twitter filing paperwork this morning to enter the payments business. He was actually tweeting about it then this afternoon, suggesting, watch out, PayPal maybe, Twitter pay coming into play. That headline or that tweet from Elon actually caused this move down for PayPal this afternoon.
Elon should just buy PayPal.
Well, I was about to say, like,
where's my poppy?
He wanted to trade that X thing. You lent it to Brad. Well, I mean, I remember, like, so that's where yours is. We'll get it off, Brad. But he's been talking about this X, the do-it-all, like kind of like the WeChat of North America, or just not China. So if he's going to do that, why wouldn't he just make the acquisition? It doesn't necessarily have to be bad for a PayPal. But look, it happened, and now you've got where it broke down at 79. It looks like resistance. This was trending down anyway, so it kind of feels as if whether or not that had come out. Like, look at the 80 level on the daily chart here. So you got back to there, you rejected the 80 level, you're coming back in, and thus you get this little bit of a trend down once it fails 80, and then lower high. So maybe this would have happened regardless, but that 79, where it did occur from, makes some sense to me for a bit of a fade. What Elon does or doesn't do, I don't know. But how many times has he tweeted about something or talked about an idea or a concept that doesn't really necessarily come to fruition? So it makes sense based on what he always said Twitter could become, that you'd go into payments. But he's also talked about, like, I mean, WeChat does ride hailing. Is he going to buy Lyft next? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's buying Lyft. I'm just making a point. So I don't know if there's any there, but it would make more sense for an acquisition if he was going to go down that road. I'll short some 79s if it gets back to the upside. I'm looking for places to reload shorts. As a matter of fact, here's one you could be looking at right now. Like Tesla, look, as usual, I'm long 180 before I short 180 because I can't help myself. That didn't last very long. There was a scalp of 30 cents, and then it was a short. I reloaded that short. I got trailed out of it when I thought it was going to 175. But look at it hold this 180. If it doesn't break and we head back to the lows, I think shorting this 180 area, giving it to like 180.50 makes some sense to me on Tesla. But I'm shorting pops till we get like a more definitive move to the upside. I do like that Apple. It gives a good level at 135. I'll take that for the long. But other than that, I'm still looking for these shorts.
All right. Yeah, just looking, we got our poppy back there. So thanks to Ian for that one. So that's nice. We got that back. But yeah, look, I mean, if anything, we're going to talk crypto in a minute, but if anything, I think that that's a pretty bullish sign for crypto markets. And I know that's funny to say that on a day when Bitcoin is literally breaking like 2-year lows here. But Elon has been one of the biggest crypto bulls, or was. I don't know if he is anymore. Seems to be a little distracted, needless to say. But yeah, I don't know. You know, if we're talking about getting some base cases for crypto or whatever, look, Twitter is still, what was it, 500? I don't know what the daily active users was, 300 million, something like that for Twitter. So, I mean, you know, if they're going to start accepting some sort of form of payment or something like that, maybe there is some sort of a use there that we can have for Dogecoin or for Bitcoin or even for ETH or, you know, who knows? But that could be something there. So I feel like that's a little bit better news there for the crypto space, that Elon Musk is looking at possibly gaining some traction for payment on Twitter. I think that Twitter plus crypto, I mean, they're born, you know, to help each other. It feels like so many people, there's so many opinions, like CZ's on there, SPF, like these guys are tweeting every day. There's a big crypto, I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that. There's a big crypto family there on Twitter. So I don't know, maybe there's something there. You could do the tipping option. We've talked about that before. And Twitter Blue is going to do different things like that as well, where you can host spaces and things like, let's just say we did at Trader TV Live. We haven't even discussed this, but if we want to do like a round table, Twitter can do, I think it's called Twitter Circles or something like that. And so, you know, I could see some use cases there for all that. So yeah, I don't think it's a negative thing at all that Twitter's going to start accepting payments.
All right, let's go on to Roblox here, one that's been just a mess all day, basically at session lows here. Yeah, 17%. Wider loss across the board, both EPS and revenue missed. The active daily user number did tick higher ever so slightly, but pretty ugly day here for Roblox.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those, like, look, the story of today and the multiple stories of today, we don't do like the frustrating trade of the day thing, right? But
should bring that back.
We should bring that back. Like, I was short Tesla and lost today.
That's what I was going to say. All of my shorts are frustrated because I'm out like so early.
It's ridiculous. And then Roblox, it went basically like I like 37. I'm like, if it pops to 37, I want to short 37. It goes to 36.77. There's your consolidation low. I was on the offer. I guess I should have just punched short. I was on the offer. I was trying to get it here. I just didn't do it, and then it just, I mean, you can see it just crashed to the downside. And this is yet another name. Like it gives you this huge breakdown, and it even took out a low at 33.5 on the daily that I just talked about. This, by the way, Apple just came down, so it's coming to that 135. But I just talked about sometimes you short when that bottom goes, and when it took out 33.5, it kind of tried to go here. Now pre-market, I don't know about breaks in the pre-market of big monster levels. I think when it goes in the real market or the open market, it's a little bit better. When it did go for good, this is at 33.5 on the daily. It's about 1050. It retested about 1145, and it never looks back. It's not that complicated, right? Like this is that same bottom. The second it goes and clears this, not in the pre-market, it just continues to crater. But I don't have it because, you know, I didn't get the price I wanted up at like 37, so I didn't short that low. Sometimes you've got to be willing to hit that bottom when it goes, especially if it's a good level to the downside. As mentioned just a second ago, Apple did just get down to 130 or close enough to 135 again. I grabbed 15s, creative number right there, not really. If it breaks 135, I'm out. Simple.
I don't know you're talking about us, OC. What do we mean when market is green? Yeah, we don't mean market is green today. You didn't say that, so maybe somebody else in the chat.
Did I say that?
Yeah, the market is pretty red today, down 1.82%. I don't know what oil is. Maybe that's up today. I haven't looked at that. I know crypto's down for sure today. Look, I haven't done anything in the Roblox metaverse other than trading Meta today, but it's, you know, Roblox is just one of those names that, again, we've seen Upstart, we've seen Affirm, we've seen Roblox, we've seen Palantir. A lot of these companies that aren't making money come out and have disappointed. And I think in this environment, it shouldn't surprise anybody. I mean, new 52-week lows today, Beyond Meat, $11. You know, PaySafe, $1. Tesla, 180 was
$1.
186. Yeah, PaySafe's 118 on that one. I looked at my account. I'm long $4 on PaySafe. So
that could be that stock at a buck could be real. Like that could be a big level.
It's over with. Trust me. Clover. You want to? I mean, guys, Clover.
Clover hell. Oh,
I want to get Chamath on the show, but this has been an absolute destruction, man. Like this name down to $1.20. Like, yeah, really revolutionizing healthcare, or whatever they're doing there, Clover. But still destructive stock there. But there's a lot of names that have just been getting beat down today. So I just kind of throw Roblox into that category as well. Like we're $1 in the money on Lucid as that breaks down below. We're short Lucid right there. That breaks below. What do we have next? Disney. So we can talk about Disney in a minute. But Lucid below. Like look at Robinhood today. We shorted that at 950. That's what I'm saying. My regret is getting out right there at 880. I don't know why we did that. It's all the way down here right now. Robinhood, we just did. Amazon, you want to talk about another name that just hit 52-week lows. Shorting here and out right here. Come on, dog. You got out at 87. Like, anyways, yeah, lots of movements today. Lots of stock happening. And Brendan, the best one is what we're talking about next. That stock got destroyed.
It was the first time in 20 years that it was a negative 10% reaction to earnings, specifically at the open for Disney, coming off this report. It was this number right here, $1.5 billion loss in the streaming division, and they pointed to more competition against Netflix and more spending possibly to come to compete with Netflix, guys. Yeah, no bounce. I was watching this as well, just quickly. Turtle Beach popped up. There was a note on Meta's VR headset. Apparently, Turtle Beach is going to make a charger for that headset. But yeah, Disney getting crushed here.
This is in the bear market. This has actually been my favorite setup, so I hate that I don't have it. Shat talked the earnings. Shat talked it all. There's 90. I mean, how many stocks have shown you this today, or just not today, but in the last few weeks, where you do have a significant not multi-day, but like multi-week bottom that gets taken out with a catalyst, with or without a catalyst. I guess it almost doesn't matter. And then there goes your 90. Yeah, look, I'm glad you had it, Sean, because if nobody had this on this show, that would be a fail on our part. So I'm glad we didn't. Like that breakdown is sweet. It does give you a chance back here. That's a little bit tight. It doesn't quite give you like 89.70 or 89.80 or so. But the theme is the same thing. Like whether it's Roblox, that was a little bit different, but Robinhood, it's the same sort of thing. Like when a stock is down, sometimes you got to be willing to just see level, hit level, and then make it happen. I'll get to this when we talk about crypto, because a similar thing happened yesterday that I feel like I would have been in, but I wasn't here, and that was on Silvergate. But I guess we'll talk some crypto, and I'll mention that one. But wow,
you were not forgotten yesterday. I did say yesterday, I talked about this with you off air, that Silvergate would probably come up, and we forgot about it this morning. And I know you have some thoughts on that.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I want to talk about bag holding a little bit. We'll get to that later. You talk Disney, we'll get to bag holding a little bit.
All right,
later.
let's talk Disney quickly. Okay, so again, just managing some other positions here, all good. All right, so there's Disney, man. I mean, I came in and basically said to everybody that I really need to reevaluate my thoughts here about Disney, because that was a horrendous quarter. The spend on their DTC, their direct-to-consumer there for the stream was huge. They talked about not making any money until 2024, and like that's in this environment. And I don't know, maybe the turnaround's good, man. Maybe that's great to make money finally in 2024, but not for this guy. There's so much value in money right now that I don't want to sit around and wait for these guys to put it out. When you can invest your money at 4.6% or something on the 2-year, there's no point in sitting there waiting for a Disney. So I knew that would be a disaster. We wrote down that we wanted the short at $93. I thought there was a chance it could pop to 95 on the sticky note. That didn't happen. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put a stop order in at $90. And I remember when it came in, Neil was like, oh, I was like, I'm short 90. He's like, already? And I was like, yeah. And then it didn't even, in the same minute, it went all the way down to 80. This is 1 minute chart, man.
It's crazy.
It went down $1 in 1 minute to 89.10. So I was like, all right. So we start getting filled on there, getting out. But the thing is, what's so funny? Where I said, I? Yeah, so the only problem is, on this chart is one thing. So I said that I was going to get out once we broke the 50 period. The problem is, it broke it a little too early. Like it broke it breaking back through 88 there. So I actually don't have like this ultimate short down here to 87. So, you know, it's the number one stock today. It's my number one stock today. And it's only off one trade. So again, like I feel like you don't need to have the whole move to have a big day. Obviously wish we would still had it. It broke my level. I got out. We were only holding 10%. So it's not like it's, a game changer for me, but would have liked to have that short still on board. Disney, I almost feel like it's too low for me to look at my portfolio right now. But oh man, this is a name that I was buying up, and it goes to your SI talk. It goes, yeah, it's all right, it's all right. This goes back to COVID talk, and if we actually call up Disney right now,
Don't look at the daily chart.
No, I do want to look at the daily chart on purpose.
I'm joking,
because this is a name that I didn't buy until COVID. So I was not even a shareholder in this name until COVID, and we were looking at this level right here, $100 or so for that, right? Look at the COVID bottoms. Like this is before their release of what's it called, Disney Plus, right? Like you were already like, look at this, $85. Like it was down here when Disney was closed. They didn't have this Disney Plus. You know, sure, great move back up. We did cash some out, don't get me wrong, but
legit 85 was the higher low entry. Like that was the higher low
disgusting
level. Like if you, I'm not making this up, because like Disney, when Disney bounced off 80, like the realistic swing entry was basically 85. We're gonna talk bag holding, man. Like that's, like some of these stocks gave you pandemic bottoms, 2x, 300 times. This went 2x. 300%, 400%, and now we're just right back to revisiting some of those. Sometimes you gotta, I know they say hold on to a piece of it, but man.
Neil, don't worry, at least you get the dividend. Which they cut. They don't even have a dividend. There's not even a dividend in that name anymore.
I'm like, I know it's not funny, but sometimes you have to be able to, I
need that slipper to throw.
You'll drive yourself mad. You'll drive yourself mad if you don't sometimes like slap yourself in the face or whatnot. Because like I still have, at least I didn't buy more. That's all I gotta say. But I've been holding it this whole time. I bought during the pandemic bottoms. But I didn't, like I sold some, but I mean, come on, man. It's all right.
It's all right.
And it's not even Silvergate, Brendo.
All right, let's discuss AMC here. There are a few interesting notes to consider here when it comes to AMC, another wider loss for this company as well. They pointed to a lack of blockbusters for this loss. I want to talk a little bit though, guys, about the lack of reaction here in this stock today, because I mean, throughout the midday, this was trading in a 3-cent range. So from, what was this, 11:20, call it, through to about 1 o'clock, this thing was trading in a 3-cent range. And barely anything more than that right now. So, I mean, is it safe to say, you got to go back to April 2021 for the last time AMC was down here at $5.05.
Ape, real? Yeah. So look, I'm not actually. I didn't mean that in the ape sense. Ape's not buying. What I really meant that like ape, the issue, which I don't think this should be all that surprising to people, and don't get mad or anything. Some people might get mad because it just happens.
People are getting very mad.
Ape is going as close to zero as it can probably get, and that's sort of been the case since they brought the issue. Like it's in a steep downward trend. It'll pop a little bit here and there. AMC's actually holding up better than Ape, and there's no question about it. That's probably going to continue to happen because at least there's something there. Right, like I know there is some improvement. There goes Apple through 135. So scalped half of it out for a win, then the rest of it's going to go for a loser. But Ape, this is on a one-way tour to that penny stock range. It's just a matter of time before it gets there. AMC, look, it's just another stock that gave you an opportunity. There's no 5 break yet. That was the other thing I was looking for. But it did make this break of the low on the week, so the Monday's bottom. Not taken out at 5.15, so that opportunity was there. But this is holding up a little bit better. Maybe it supports that 5 a little bit longer. It wasn't, if you look at the bad reports that came out this week, you can't even say AMC wasn't even remotely close to the worst. So, you know, I can see how it bounced off $5 today. Ape's a different story. That's going into penny stock status. And I think once that fully capitulates, AMC might catch a little bit of a bottom. But we're a trading show, so I'll show you what happens. This is a problem, and you guys know this, when you try to capture some of these scalp trades off the lows. Oh, I meant to zoom in, not out, sorry. We get that 35, 15. It's all right. I actually add to it at 10. I get some out at 30. I get some out at 40. And the only mistake is, should just get it all out. Because look at the candle after that on the 3-minute. Straight shot to the downside, because that's what this market has been doing. At least I got a reload in Robinhood, and that came back to its bottom.
Straight shots fired right there.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, that's not why I hit that, but we just got into Meta against 102, so watch out now. We're into a decent position here on Meta, back down to that 102 level. We hit it already, got it out up here in the 70s. Not feeling like that right now because we are below here. We just took another piece out there at 17 or something. We're long at 08. We are below the 50 period. We were above it when we took it the last time. And then we did get some feedback. And I want to thank everybody for filling out the feedback on the survey that we sent out about our watch list. And some of the feedback was like you guys wanted to make sure that, you know, we continue to teach and talk about like why we're in, why we're out, what we're looking for, and things like that. And that was also a lot of the positive feedback, obviously, as well, that's what makes our show the best, right? Is that trying to explain so other people, other traders can not only have similar successes, but understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because, you know, it's one thing for someone to say, oh, I'm buying this now, and then doing it, and then when it wins, they're like, yay, and then when it loses, they sort of rug it, but, you know, they don't even show you it. You know, I like to tell you why we're doing something, why I'm getting out here, why I'm putting offers, bids. So now we're below the 50 period. So this is a much more, you know, wishy-washy trade for me. And again, nothing's perfect, right? Like I probably shouldn't be looking at a 1-minute chart here of Meta or even of the NASDAQ to base my decisions on it. But when you know what kind of style of trader you are and you're scalping in and out, you know, that's kind of what you need to sort of focus on for yourself. Make sure that you're making the right plays, looking at the right things, and doing what's comfortable for you. So on that note, yeah, break a little lower than 102, and we're going to get out of Meta. Let's see if it wants to fly a little bit higher than this. I'm waiting at 19s to see if we can get something out on the upside of Meta. But the other short that we have, that's printing, so we're pretty happy with it so far. AMD starting to go to the downside. We waited again. I waited for VWAP. This was during lunch. It was one of the only trades I put on. I mentioned to Bear vs. Bulls as well in the chat that You know, these were my positions, so that's what we had there going on. AMD short. We did get taken out a little bit once it broke, got right back in. AMD, another one of those top stocks for us today. So it's trading high, so that's one there. Other than that, yeah, not much else, man. That Disney trade, I feel like there's gonna be a long at some point, but that's now at 52-week lows. So is this guy. Amazon continues to make newer lows. We talked about like where we wound up getting, okay, there's Meta, so Meta just got out there, so we'll flush ourselves down the toilet on a 102 break as it's just starting to go below. That's why you're gonna see me with a couple outs here, right? Like, just get a few out and then, you know, watch out, because once you're already in the trade, there's really not a whole heck of a lot that you can do to protect that trade. It's like you either have to wait for your levels to hit or just get out. And I mean, in that situation, we started to get out a little bit, then our level hit, and now we don't really have to worry about anything as Meta just trying to dance around here. So we'll find it. We'll be back in this name and ready to make a little bit of money on Meta again. But for right now, Lucid and AMD short side.
And here comes Tesla. I don't know if we're done. I think we're done the rundown.
It's gone.
Okay,
so.
It's gone. Tesla popped. I was looking for it to roll over right here from 180. Instead, it went up to 181.50, but now it's retaking or reclaiming that 180 to the downside. So if I can get something a little tighter to the 180 for an entry point, I'm going to try to jump back into that short. I did mention, and if I didn't show it, I think I did, quickly. I don't know if I did. We got back to the low of the day on Robinhood, but it won't break 840 just yet. So every pop back up to 850, I'm going to try and get some more shares. I am still in Intel, but it's just kind of the usual for me. It hasn't broken 27.5. I was only really entering off of that 28 area to the short side. I got some 90s. I look at 27.75 now for the afternoon to fade any pops. I'm still favoring shorting some of these pops here. They make sense to me with the market not really showing a heck of a lot of signs of coming back up. And, well, what would you, like, we have CPI coming tomorrow morning, right? So, like, how much risk would you want to be in? Like, Rivian, I was about to point out, Rivian's about to get to the low of the day. They're down 13%. They haven't even reported yet. Like, how ugly is this about to get? So, I said I like PayPal to 79. It didn't quite get there, but I'll probably put some 80s just to be able to see if I can get that fill. Coming back upside, I want to short pops in PayPal. I already have my order set to go in Intel as well. Intel, Robinhood, short pops, and then Tesla is the other one I'm looking for the short side. I don't really have any long ideas at this point. You know, I had the Apple 135, that bounced, gave a little bit of a bounce, and then flushed. So I don't really have any long ideas that I'm in love with right now. We'll see if I can find something, but everything is so weak.
Yeah, I'm just like scrambling the other way. Like I'm trying to look for shorts. Like there's so, I mean, I have two great shorts on board right now in AMD and Lucid, but want to get more, want to find some more opportunities here. All right. We talked about, you know what, maybe Shopify. You want to look at Shopify quickly? All right, let's look at Shopify. All right, Shopify. And I'm just going over some names that, again, you know, have had maybe some decent runs that are at some decent levels. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle again right here. It's too bad. Like, you see this 200 period? So when I sort of scan for stocks, I mean, I'm looking for something that I want to short that is either near this 200 period, which this is. It's only 20 cents away, or near a VWAP. You know, the 50 period right now, there's a lot of names that are around there, so I'm not super concerned about it. This is traded around this all day. So, you know, but like this is why I have the 200 period on here. It sort of gives me that area of concern. So like if Shopify came back up to 30.90, I think that would be a good one. Let's go over to Roblox. I know Neil. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. I didn't go over AMC. You know, if there's ever going to be, you know, probably the worst trade of the day segment, this would be it right here for sure. We went short early, breaking the 52-week low of 520 on AMC. Then within 2 minutes, we were completely wrong. The hit's not going to matter that much. It's 15 cents, I believe. We're short at 17, 18 there, out at 32. So yeah, 14 cents worth of a hit. The only reason is it sucks so bad because it just happened so fast. It was like boom, boom. And it's only a $5 stock. We did have a decent amount of shares on, so we started our day off in the negative. Well, no, I think at the same time we had Disney, so it's fine. But, you know, we start the day off in the negative here because of this move, and then only to look back and see AMC bouncing off 5 right now. So, yeah, if we would have held that, but we had no idea. It didn't get back into the money until 10:30. So, that's not a name we wanted to hold. But I did want to show that because sometimes, we get excited and we show you the winners and we sort of, act like we don't have any. Well, we don't do that, but I don't want to act like we don't have any losers. But the simple fact is, this is the only loser that I have on board today. We're long. We've done everything we can to trade today and trade the right names and look for great opportunities. So I'm going to be 6 of 7 today. It looks like. Yeah, you have another opportunity because I was thinking maybe Coinbase.
That's exactly what I was about to talk about.
Oh, you were? Okay,
I
went over to Microsoft.
Well, it's weird. I thought Coinbase would be on the rundown, and we talked about Robinhood, and then didn't go over Coinbase. Sorry about that. I apologize. I did mean to talk about Coinbase. Okay, so shorting off 48 and 49 earlier in the morning, and then it flushed. When it got announced that the buyout, or not buyout, the bailout was not likely to happen from Binance to FTX there, you saw coin just flush pretty much everything. It double bottomed. I re-entered off VWAP. It broke VWAP. I did not get back into it. That sucks. But look at it now holding below. So I look at this 47, and I want to take a shot. The market is rolling over here. And I just got Tesla as well. So I just got Tesla, that 180 off Tesla or just beneath it, and looking at Coinbase as well. Look, if it takes out 47, I probably wait back to 48. Don't want to hold it forever against me. So they just got into Coinbase there. And then I mentioned Tesla sort of now reclaiming that 180 area. Now, I don't want to hold Tesla all the way back up to 182. I think if you do fail from here, there is $2 worth of downside. Upside in profit, but downside if it gets to the low. But that doesn't mean I want to risk it 1-to-1. Like, the market is testing the bottom. You have a higher low as well here on Tesla. So I'll probably respect it to 100 to 180.50, which is more or less the same stop I had on it when I shorted it a few hours ago. So into Tesla, into some Coinbase. And I did want to mention Roblox. I saw a few people still talking about this. I want to be into this short somewhere. It's about finding an entry point because it's very slowly sliding down. It's not really accelerating or anything, but it's slowly sliding into the downside. And maybe it has to get back up to 32, but this one's tricky to try to catch it off the bottom, down 20% already. But wow, like some of the charts today are just like, man, the short, you had no reason to be out of it. The trend never really broke in a meaningful way in a lot of these stocks. Roblox, probably just as much as any other one.
All right, so we're in a position right now, softy. So nice little upside move for Microsoft happening right here. So let's see if we can capture a little bit here on Microsoft. So so far so good. Starting to go to the upside. We're long at 18s. We'll take a piece out at 37. I just hit offer and it goes all the way down. I was going to say we'll scalp out a third for 20 cents. Come on, give it to us here, Microsoft. So we just went long again. I want to get more shares, so that's why I wasn't instantly like. This is the key. If you want to know a little secret, the reason how you're going to know that I have a lot of shares on is like. If you see me long at, like I am now at 225.18 and it goes to 38, I'm like this, like I'm trying to get out as many as I can using paid ECNs, using free gateways, whatever, just trying to get some out, trying to make some money before the stock turns around on us like it's doing right now. But this was the first position in here for Microsoft, and I kind of want to do like we've been talking about doing, and that is like playing the average in game. And what I mean by that is like until we come down to like a key level here, which is going to be right here, 225 flat, then I really don't want to be like swamped into a trade. Like I'd want to be just, let me work this trade, excuse me, let me work this trade and figure out the levels, right? So what I'm doing, okay, so there it is right there. We'll go sirens, man. I mean, look, now it's going to the upside. We have enough shares that we're able to make money, but there it goes. We'll take 20 cents. If it continues to run, fine. But we were just pennies away again from getting some more shares down there. So if it wants to run, let it run. And that's the thing about these markets. We talked about this. You weren't here yesterday, obviously, but we talked about this with the Rune. And, well, actually, this is something that me and you have said a lot. If there's a price you think you might like,
you're probably gonna get it.
You'll probably get it. Like, it's not to say like, oh, I want to get Microsoft long at 220 right now. Well, that might not happen. But if you say, hey, I want to be a little more patient and wait for a pullback to maybe test some lows, there's a chance that could happen for you, right? And so that's kind of the strategy that I've been using lately on this, and it has been working. So that's what we're doing right now. Let's take out a third and see where we go. And before I throw it back here, I just want to look at AMD one more time, because this is now 1 time, 2 time, 3 times a charm that we have now bounced off of 60 here. So, you know, we're short. We're in the money $1.50 on AMD, and your boy is considering taking this. And I'm going to look back and not like this decision, but I'm going to play off this 50 period. It's there for a reason. If it wants to keep going down, fine. I could put a bid down here and get out at 02 or 03, but we only have 25%. Like, there's the trade rate there. We only have 1 out, 2 outs, 3 outs, 4. So actually we only have 20% left of this trade. So if it breaks 65 or 60, sorry, great, and we'll be happy with that. But other than that, let's just respect the move in the market that the market could have, and take it out if we break above 60.30, which is the 50 period. So there you go. Some more, you know, into my mind, which is a dangerous thing, but that's what I'm thinking about right now, is getting out. Yeah, we already know that Tesla. I just saw more news about Tesla and Zoom.
Yeah.
Funny that stock's going down. Yeah.
Like, that's that news from earlier, but look, if that ends up taking me out at that 180.50, so be it. Like, that's where my stop. I'm not moving my stop or anything like that. But to add to that point, like, I just talked about, like, Roblox missing that short, but it does come down to, I thought I was going to get the price I wanted. Based on the way the market has been moving, I'm like, I shouldn't have to compromise. I should get the fill because it was trending to the upside. Well, sometimes the other side of that is you miss the trade. And you got to be willing to miss the trade to get the trade. I like Boeing here. I did go from longs to shorts when this could not hold the 170 level. That was my line in the sand for Boeing. Got it at VWAP, but now I am going back to looking for that long. So double bottom here at 167.25. If it comes back and tests a third time, Boeing's been pretty strong the entire week. If it wants to buck that trend, there are worse places to go. And Iverson Allen, good name there. Thank you for the super chat. Iverson Allen, what do we think about Rivian long term at this price? So we'll get this super chat very quickly. The issue with Rivian, or pretty much anybody that's not making money, is it's not necessarily about the price here. Because if the market, if the print comes in hot and the market does another move to the downside, Rivian's going to test 20 if their earnings aren't good. So, like, you have to ask yourself whether you believe in the long enough time horizon that you want to be, because you probably have to wait a couple of years for this to start to work out. If you have to pick one of these that has enough cash on hand to be able to make this work for 2 or 3 years, yes, Rivian does have the most. And in that regard, I would say it's probably safer than, I don't know, like Lordstown or Youth Canoe. Just throw out some of those other names. There's no question about that. Yeah, Nikola. But that doesn't mean that today, Nikola, right now, before CPI and before they report earnings, this is a good price. I would never say that. It's just, I don't if it breaks 25, I think it's heading to 20. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. So it's hard for me to say I like it at this price because they don't really produce anything. Like, it's at this price, it's probably overvalued to some extent. At 20, it's probably, you could argue that. And then you could say if they reach potential, it could be worth 50 or 100. But the point is, they're so far away from that level of production that some of that doesn't matter. It's, can you hold it for 2 to 5 years to be able to find out? So as usual, it's like dollar cost averaging makes more sense when you don't know when a bottom is going to be, and then play it relatively conservative if you happen to like the lane. Me, I'm kind of looking for 25 tomorrow for a breakdown. Maybe it doesn't do that. I don't know.
I was going to just quickly here say something and give an example of what you said. Remember when Intel's report came out? You thought it was not even really that good, but yet Intel was up like 5 or 6%, remember?
That report sucked.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
Sucked.
Like, us sort of talking heads about reports and stuff like that, it's the market that's going to really determine where they want that stock to go. So thanks for the question, AI, and I like your handles.
It has been an absolutely wild 36 hours in crypto markets, all stemming from what has happened with FTX specifically, and this whole is it a deal or is it not a deal with Binance. We'll break down a few things that we know right now. We'll break down, give you a few thoughts on crypto markets overall, guys. I want to lead this off by showing you a few of the latest headlines here that we got just today on what is happening in crypto markets as the fallout, heats up big time, not only for Bitcoin reaching 2-year lows as we sit here today. Binance CEO CZ coming out saying the planned FTX acquisition is not a win for us. Later, a company spokesperson came out and actually said, company spokesperson for Binance came out and said that we're 36 hours into due diligence, and basically, it's not looking that great. I want to point out this headline as well from Bloomberg here. U.S. regulators now probing FTX for the handling of customer funds. So a ton of different angles here. And I want to get your guys' opinion on this. This is a company in FTX that just in January was valued in a Series C at $32 billion. That said financing was led by none other than SoftBank and Tiger Global, two of the most monstrous funds and VC firms on the planet. This is a huge story and only continues to get bigger.
No, it's absolutely massive. It's sent some shocks and shockwaves of confidence issues in crypto, and that's the big thing. It's a matter of confidence here. They're legitimate, and I mean, we're Canadian, so the Ontario Teachers Pension Fund, they're invested in FTX, and I know there's lots of others, big names that are out there. It's not just about that. It's about the fallout when you have this kind of fear in a major player and the kind of run that it ends up leading, because it bleeds everywhere. And I'm going to give a personal example in a quick second, but what's happened to both Ether, Bitcoin, a lot of these tokens, you just have had a bit of a run. And what I'm fearful of is we don't even know what's under the, I'm no expert, I don't know what's under the hood at FTX. Binance took a look and said, we don't want to do the deal anymore. When that news hit, I saw Coinbase drop $3 or $4 on a dime. And now you're breaking major support on ETH. Bitcoin has pretty much already done that and trading down beneath that 17,000. I can tell you personally speaking, that I got triggered out, stopped on some Silvergate when it opened beneath $50 yesterday. And I'm glad I did it, quite frankly. Like, sometimes you're like, you don't want to get stopped out. But it just came down to, well, I don't know what's next here. And if the answer is I don't know, sometimes people just say, I want my money out and I want to be able to regroup. And I think that's what we're working through. I don't think this story is done by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of fear out there. You're seeing that being played out with Robinhood, Coinbase at lows. Like I said, I mean, Silvergate, I got stopped out at 50. It's at $35 here today. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic to have held that bag all this way and at least managed to get out at break even. It doesn't mean it was the right thing to have held that bag, but you're talking 30% down from that 50 break. So this is not done by any stretch.
I mean, look, I think that you've hit the nail right on the head with all of this. And let's just have a quick look at the coin here. I have it listed right here. It's the FTT coin. And honestly, it was pretty stable heading in we got to go to the screen there. Yeah, thanks. Pretty stable heading into 24, 25 bucks. And then all of a sudden, news came through. Remember, man, Binance, they didn't do anything wrong. They were testing the waters here. They thought that there was some liquidity issues with FTX and FTT, and they were 100% right. It's just, they came in, they started to sell, then they realized that there was over 6 billion in transactions scheduled for this FTT coin. And then honestly, there it goes down to the downside. It just kept on making moves back in. Now you're on a 24-hour clock here. You're down to $5-6, right? Sam Bankman-Fried's net worth was over 16 billion. You're now underneath $1 billion. And I think you're even going lower. You're now 343. And guess what? Binance has come out and said they're not, they've done the due diligence. And I actually said to tweet about this morning, that they're going to do the due diligence and not like what they see. And so right now, I don't know where we're going to go, but it does push confidence levels on Silvergate, on Coinbase. And it just goes back to the point. We had SPF on our show talking about cold storage, making sure that you're confident in where you're storing your coins. And I just think this is a problem with crypto. There are a lot of names out there that really don't have a base case use, right? If we just go back into see some of the portfolio here and what this has done. Bitcoin over the last 24 hours down 7% at 2-year lows, down to 16.9 right now. Ethereum back down to 11.1 right now, 11.19 right here. XRP, everything down. Look at the 7 days, man. Solana 56%, Dogecoin 41%. Like it's the ripple effects that say, hey, maybe crypto isn't what we thought it was. And I think that's the main issue here. You have to have confidence in what you're investing in and what the future is. And when you get a talking head like Sam Bankman-Fried come out, he's been in front of Congress Senate, like he's been everywhere talking about regulation and why we need it. And this is what's underlying in his company. It's actually quite pathetic, and I feel bad. And I don't care about any tweets that this guy says. He's left shareholders and investors out to dry, and it's really unfortunate that that happened. I hope the best for FTT.
A lot of comments all day long on Twitter regarding the fact that a lot of these quote unquote institutions in cryptocurrency built on sand instead of anything of substance. I saw a lot of people, guys, circulating that video clip, in fact, of Sam Bankman-Fried in front of Congress. And some of the comments being made during that were questionable at this point at best. Still, a ton left to be resolved when it comes to this issue, a ton left to work its way through the system when it comes to this issue. More to come across the board from crypto.
Yeah, and almost to add to that for a second, because at this point, the other thing, people are now going to be questioning, if you weren't safe in FTX, are you safe in Coinbase? Now, Coinbase has said all the right things, which they have to do, which they should do. How do you think you avoid a run on the bank? You don't do that by saying, well, you know what, we're going to double check to see whether we got enough collateral. No. You reassure everybody, because it's the first and most important thing you can do is reassure everybody of your capital position. But that's what SBF did right away. That's the first thing. That's the first thing he did. I'm not saying it was the wrong thing to do that, because runs are going to end up hurting everybody. But we sort of talked about this from the standpoint of what's going to go on, what's going to happen next. The truth of the matter is, there is a case that you could essentially make. You could make the case that, okay, well, at least we know what Bitcoin is, and or Ether, and if you just hold that cold storage and if you believe in the concept Web3, what these can become, and the applications of them, that could just be the way to go. Because once you start getting into the commoditization and leverage game and all that other stuff that we see happening pretty much in every financial market, this is gonna be the case. That's just the reality. You get more of that, you get more risk, you get more rug pulls, you get runs on banks, you get over leveraged firms. We have no idea that one firm's lending to this firm and that one's lending to this one, and then the rug goes, and then you get 2008 all over again, right? And that's not what crypto was supposed to be. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure about that. That wasn't what it was meant to be. So we'll see what happens there. We do need to get back to this market, which is, last I checked, fresh lows. So I'm already on Coinbase. So I just got some out at 46. It got back up to VWAP. So arrows to the downside. I guess Randy was right when he changed it to the bear. It was kind of premature based on the way that we normally do things, but he was certainly right about that.
He didn't know. Didn't he change it yesterday, or did he change it today? What was?
He didn't do it again today?
I feel like we were on this sort of the bear front today. Remember?
It? I don't remember.
It might have been a bull from yesterday, and he changed it early in the morning, but we didn't have a chance to change it because all of my trades have been short today.
No, I know.
So.
But I think right when we came on air, I think it was on the
I think
bull.
you might be right. I think.
And then Randy came by early because he wanted to get on camera.
Yeah, he changed it yesterday like a boss. You're right, Ice Sniper. But
okay,
I should have elbowed him when he did that, because maybe we need Randy to come change this now and spark something here. But,
that's probably not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work either, Brendo.
As we just wrap up that little crypto talk there, guys, the CFTC coming out, Johnson from the CFTC coming out saying CFTC is positioned to take a bigger crypto oversight role, saying that FTX events show the need for more regulation in the space. Here's Bitcoin, not really reacting to that, still trying to bounce here, but the CFTC even looking at it.
Yeah, is that a surprise though?
Looking at what was that? I missed it.
Basically they're looking at more regulation.
Oh, for crypto?
But it makes sense. We didn't even talk about the whole Alameda trading firm.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even talk about really the reason.
Some of the relationship there, and part of that, and I'll be frank about it. Like, part of the reason why sometimes we don't get into some of that nitty gritty is I'm not an expert, and I couldn't some of this. Brendan sent us a video, and I was watching a good talk about it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty informative, because I'm not an expert on the inner workings of the back end between Alameda and FTX, and I couldn't even begin to have that conversation. But this is where we're at, and I think people are just afraid right now, and sometimes it gives you an opportunity for some entry points. I think that can be true.
Look how funny this is.
We'll see if that ends up being the case. What's with that picture, though?
So
hold on a second.
So we had Sam Bankman-Fried live on our show.
Why do you have that picture?
I don't know. Justin sent this to me. Justin's a funny guy.
Really, Justin?
He said, this is my reaction when I found out what Sam Bankman-Fried was up to. But we had him live on the show and interviewed him. Great little interview. Liz is busy clipping some stuff for that. But we had him on, I'm going to say about a year ago or so, live on the show. Let me see. You can see, like, look at that. You know the funny thing to check out is,
I love
look at the
those.
price of Tesla, 1.12K. Look at the price of Rivian, 116.40 when we had him on. 116.40 for Rivian when we had him on. Wow. Okay, but that's Sam Bankman-Fried, man, right there. FTX CEO and co-founder. He was on our show, man, before anybody else. That's not true, Brendan. But we did have him.
We had
and it
him
was a
before
good
Congress.
time. You know, I wonder if we should reach out and see if he'll come on again.
Days, that's for sure. I just wanted to mention, guys, I forgot to mention during that segment, but here's their website right now. This is Almeida Research website. Gone already.
Research. Yeah, maybe they should research structure of coins and you know, how to get rug pulled themselves. I mean, that's exactly what happened to them there. But, oh, man, that's just sad. It sucks because we actually found out that a friend of ours, a former trader
I didn't know
on the floor, I didn't know this either, has a significant amount of money wrapped up at FTX. And he can't.
And to be honest,
I thought you could still make withdrawals.
Well, see,
I don't.
I'm not with them, so I thought that you could as well, and now that I'm thinking about it, there's actually a couple of other people that I know that are probably in a similar situation, and that's the human side of this, right? Like, it's not cool, man. It sucks, and
it's tough.
And again, from another personal level, you guys, everyone knows Bernie Madoff. You might not know like the mini Madoff in the Caribbean with Alan Sanford. So essentially, it was like a Madoff-like scheme, and he had banks all over the island of Antigua, which is a tiny, small island. That's where my entire family's from. It devastated the entire island. Like, when you get scams, like, people trust and put their money in these places. When you get a run or when this happens, there's a real human cost to it that I know sometimes it doesn't feel like, you know, we give its due respect. But believe me, like, I feel for everybody that now can't get access to their funds. It's tragic. It's back to market for a quick second. I did just get that PayPal, so I was looking for that push to VWAP. This is 78.90, so I got in at 80s here. Wanted to give it to that 79 area, so I'm now into PayPal, getting that little bit of a pop in. And if I get another push to the upside in coin, which I think is happening, if it does turn here off VWAP, I'll try to get back into it again. Maybe not on the way up because it just had a higher low. So maybe not on the way up, but certainly the potential on the way down. And I said in the chat a few minutes ago that Micron looked interesting because it felt like it was about to break VWAP and do one of those runs that it does when it breaks VWAP in the afternoon, and it doesn't look as bad as some of the other chips. But then that got dry pretty quick. So I'm going to back away from liking that Micron trade to the long side. And if I like something long, at this point, it's going to have to look pretty darn fantastic. I don't see a heck of a lot that looks great. Boeing is certainly in play. That's only off of those lows. So if it does pull back in, I don't really mind grabbing some Boeing off that double bottom at 167. But there's not a heck of a lot else that I like to that long side yet, because the market is bouncing. We'll find something.
Yeah, Microsoft. Flushy, down the toilet as that broke through 225 and we got out of that one. Remember, this is before we talked about that crypto segment there. We were involved with Microsoft and it broke. So we got one piece out. We talked about that. And then we averaged in exactly where we wanted to. And then we got out when it broke that level of 77. So look at that last average in was 90. Out 75, I get 74 because we got a 75 break, so out 74. So we will flush ourselves down the toilet on that one. But what worked for us, meanwhile, was AMD. But the thing about AMD is, you see how this 50 period's coming down? I'm going to still respect that 50 period. So I'm going to go over to AMD right now, change my stop order from 60.30 where it was up here, and now I'm just going to, keep watching this because, the best thing about it's basically a trailing stop. The only difference is I don't want to put in an exact trailing stop amount because, you could have something like this, goes down and then rips right back up, and then it says to itself, oh, well, there's that 20-cent trailing stop, and then it gets you out. Meanwhile, it was really nowhere near the 50 period. So I'm going to keep rolling this down and say 60.15. So we're getting really close right now. I'm going to put that stop in right here. Get us out, push enter. And then like I was saying, I interviewed, we did a brief interview there with Chat with Traders yesterday, if you guys know that podcast. And first of all, I told them the only way I'm coming on the show is if they acknowledge that we're the realest trading show, period, on YouTube. Other than that, not going on. Second point was I don't have any automated trades. Everything that we make is decisions made by ourselves that any other trader can make if they have equivalent information. And I told him that the only automated trading that I do are stop orders. So we put in the order, we let it go because
Well, that's not automated.
No, it's not exactly. I'm just saying that it's the only trade that we make where we don't hit the key to get in or out. But and that's not really automated trading, right? And so that was some of the discussions that we had right there. Because he said, well, how the heck do you manage? Because he was watching the show. How do you manage 4 or 5 positions? And I said, to be quite frank, that's how. I go heavily into one rather than others. I focus on the ones that are really in stress, and we go from there. But yeah, so hopefully, and look, hopefully they'll get back to us. But hey, that's what it is right there. Like just right there, bang, we gone, we out. That's it. We out of AMD, and that's that. But yeah, on a podcast, honestly, I'm going to go on there. And I'm going to spread the good word of Trader TV Live, and that's what's just going to happen. We're unlike anybody else, so I'm proud of that. And I want to thank everybody for watching, and please hit the like button.
Exactly, and to keep it real, I'm 1 cent away from stopped on PayPal. I didn't take the reload on Coinbase. Said I didn't like it unless it rolled over, so I just got out of that one. Also, Robinhood's still at 850 and Intel's Intel. But to your point about automation, you guys know that on the side sometimes I'll be doing market making, like bid ask on like a stock that does no moves. Well, this is what happens. I'll be honest with you. I do it on this one stock. Look, they just rug pulled on myself. I just got stopped on this thing as it broke this level to the downside. Took it out, ended up getting a pretty horrible fill with it. But I did, for one point, we had a guy who wrote a program for like this spread style trading for me. And it was like, oh, you can automate it, and it would automatically throw out the orders, and I could do this adjustment with it. I'm like, oh my goodness, now when this level breaks, I don't have to worry about bidding and asking and being the first on the bid or on the offer when I get a fill. And you know what the crazy thing was? I used it for a month and actually didn't make as much money. I didn't lose money, but what ended up happening was I just wasn't paying attention into it in the same way. Like it made me lazy, and then I traded these things worse because there's still a momentum to them at the end of the day. And I'm just using this as an example because I just got my ass kicked on it right here. And I'll show you guys. Like we trade these, but these trend even a buyout will trend to the downside sometimes when the market goes down. It is what it is. But yeah, it's not always a good solution to automate a trade because you take that human element out of it, sometimes keeping yourself accountable. Maybe it's your gut feeling. Who knows? Either way, I want to get back to Robinhood for a quick second because that just came back up. And there's some things I'm still shorting pops on because they haven't violated those levels. I guess it missed my stop by 1 cent. It's still trying to go on PayPal, but there's now size at that 05. But Robinhood reloaded it. It's in front of that 850. It cannot seem to break 840, so every time it gets back down to 840, I'm going to pop on the bid here. And I'll zoom in because it's kind of skewed. Like you're not recreating the range from the morning, so that's kind of ridiculous. Like this is the range that you're now working with. 840, 850, that's 10 cents. 850 breaks, you can give it a couple of pennies, and that's about it. Coin, that one did stop me out. But at least I didn't reload it. It just broke that 47. We got 1-to-1 when it hit 46, and then when it broke 47, I'm going to be out of it. I'm only going to reload this if it does what it did last time. Rug pull, consolidate, breakdown. There's an hour left in the session. There is plenty of time for some of this to work, and there goes said PayPal into the upside. Why did I go? Oh, I know why I went long, because I didn't like the reload on it. That's why I ended up with an accidental long. I'll just get out of that one flat. But yeah, breakouts to that upside. I liked Micron before. And now that it's coming back above, now that it's above VWAP, this looks a little more juicy. I don't like this stock when it's sort of hanging out below VWAP, even if it has support. I always like it when it's breaking out. And that's definitely setting up. Thank you very much, Rob. You're the man. And Boeing, forget about that dip buy. I'm not going to get it there. I'm now looking at 168. I want to step it up here on Boeing. Man. This has been a relatively strong stock. This is one that I want to get to the party on the long side if we're going up. I don't know about Tesla. Micron, Boeing stand out a little bit better for me here for some of these longs.
Rob comes through again, and so a big thank you to Rob for hooking us up.
That's one of the Trader TV mug.
The funny, it's like,
what is it?
No, but it's just like it's like a professional honey. Like he just puts honey in here. Oh, but I already showed the thing. Like I should just tell him, just go like this, like hold it like 1,000, like that might be too much, but figure it out how to do it. But I'll talk and put the honey in when we throw to Brendan at some point. But let's continue to trade. So
smells great.
My bad on everything. I'm going to slap a fail right on this one because although we're out of our AMD, you saw me get out of that one right there on the break of 15. So basically still flat. Unfortunately, I kind of ignored, and I don't know why, Lucid. Like Lucid was bouncing off 11. I'd always thought in my mind I was going to get out when we were down here if we ever broke 11. And just goes back to what I was saying about putting out stop orders. I guess I didn't. So right now, Lucid, this is silly of me. I'm just going to wait until it breaks 11.20. I mean, honestly, I've already given it up. This is my bad. If it breaks 11.20, we're going to get out of Lucid. But just to give you an example, that was something that I kind of screwed that one up. So if you're looking at Lucid and saying, like, why? I mean, I don't think anyone's saying, why am I still in it? I mean, this is one trade here. Once it broke 12, we went short. We're still short that same price, 11.91. And honestly, it's an average price. I don't know what it shows on there. Oh, it shows 90. Okay, so 11.90. We tried to get short. There was a huge trade just following this thing down. It's too bad because we should have been short 12. We lost 10 cents on that. A lot of our outs here when it consolidated, but I still have 20% on. So yeah, it is a little bit of a net hit by holding on to this, but that's okay. If we break higher, that's where we want to get out. Did Amazon get back at least? Oh, Amazon is back to the 200 period. Okay. Yeah, this is a trade that I like right now. I feel like we need to go short on Amazon right now. Yeah, let's do that. Short on Amazon. What's that top wick? Ooh, okay. This is good. Let's go. I think we got to get some short on Amazon. But before we get too super excited about it, missed the opportunity already on this. But yeah, you just bounced off there. Wow, okay. Some nice wick highs. What is that, 70? Okay, let's start the short now. And this is what I'm talking about. We'll start the short right here at 52. I'm waiting there. I'm on a gateway that's going to have to pay me. There it is. Okay, so we just got paid to get that short. All right, so now we're short 52, already in the money, a whopping 5 cents. We're not here to take that. But again, I'd like to average in a lot closer to this. Like, it's just, even if you're going to take 100 shares or something, like, why take it at 47 and then get out at 70, even on 100 shares, still 40 bucks. I guess, yeah, when you think about it that way, it's not that much. But just for you guys, I want to try to stay disciplined and take it closer to the 200 period, a much fuller position. So we're in a spot right now. We're in about 20% of what we'll take. So if it goes down, good, happy. But yeah, missed opportunity talking about Lucid there. Should have had that one. I would love to get that blue check mark. But I don't think in Canada it's available yet for that. We talked about that yesterday.
I heard a delay on that, but
oh yeah, I think $8 a month.
I read something about a potential delay on that.
I'm more excited about the fact that they're going to show you less ads and more prominent ads for you.
Yeah.
I think that's more important, and display your tweets a little bit. Hey, what's up? Just putting some honey in my tea. And display your tweets ahead of others, because honestly, all the comments we get about the sticky note, our watches, things like that, I feel like we should be at the top of your Twitter searches every day. But all right.
Well, there's an easy way for that.
This is what happens when you only have 20% of your position. You just
honey.
You chill
it's
out.
all about the honey. Oh, I did get into Intel, so patience pays off. Let it come to you. Like, I wanted the short Intel off of this consolidation. That's about 27.70. I mean, the top end 75. So it goes in, it comes to the upside, gets to 27.70. Nice little wick. It kind of bursts it by a penny or two. Once it gets back down below, I jump back into it. I want to play it down to the low of the day. Robinhood, it's just rinse and repeat action. It got up to 850. I got more shares at pretty much right at 49. I'm then going to get out on the back half of the bottom end of the range. I do want to have something on board if Robinhood breaks the low of the day. If 840 goes, I do have a bid at 830 for that next leg to the downside. Otherwise, rinse and repeat on these two, and then just see where we can go from there. Because you've seen this time and time again in the afternoons. You get some of these inside moves, and when you get too crazy, sort of chasing breaks and the levels like that, and it stays inside, then you're basically giving up the opportunity for some profits, getting in and out in a tight little spread there. So look, it's going to be an interesting one. I know I actually confirmed this with Brendan, because someone had asked in the chat about NEO. And I'm like, well, they're supposed to report tomorrow morning, but I feel like every time earnings season rolls around, there's like 8 million different dates for when NEO's supposed to report, and then you're never really sure which one it's going to be, but it says tomorrow morning. So we'll just go with that because I trust Brennan, and I trust it was NASDAQ's website, actually, that I looked at. Oddly enough, it's a New York stock. But NEO, like pretty much everything else, and there was my 15. I guess it crashed. So NEO, like everything else, just absolutely teetering on the precipice of disaster. Said disaster would be that $9 level. If it gets down to this, I know it's down 13% today, but that $8 low, I'm not, every single time there's a good looking breakdown, I'm just going to have it. Or an obvious price level, it's just put the trade on, and then your stop's going to be in place. Don't worry about it, because I've liked that $10 level on NEO, and then today, when it flushes off 10, comes and retraces, this is the high before the open. $10.17. It goes there, reclaims 10, and never looks back. Those are the types of trades that you can set it and forget it. Pops, tries to break resistance from pre-market, doesn't do so, short the consolidation or just short the next pop, giving it to the high, hold on to trade until it breaks. That's it. And the thing about that setup is I know what it looks like. I tend to prefer it on trending down stocks or stocks that are overstretched, gapping up too far, something along those lines. That was an easy setup on NEO. You got to hold yourself accountable. It is what it is. There's no real excuse for that. But I just looked at that and said that $10. If I see the same thing off $9 post earnings, I'm going to be right there for you, NEO.
All right, I'm right here for you, Amazon. 86. I mean, that wick was 80. We got to give it that right there is 83. Okay, yeah, we're starting to get, okay, so we're starting to get some more shares here. We don't have the full thing as I just look at to see where exactly am I going to be concerned about this trade at. Breaking above 80 is more the spot for concern for me. Obviously, as we average in, I mean, this is exactly the point that I'm getting at. As we get closer and closer, I hope I'm getting to it anyways. As we get closer and closer to a spot that we like, right there, we waited. And I mean, we just talked about waiting for your price. So there it is right now. That's why my average price is 62. We put on more shares right where we needed to. So now we'll see if this can go back to the downside. My voice seems fine, but like the energy gets drained here near the end of the day more and more now. 86, 85, I guess. We'll try to respect that as our out. So we'll look to see if that's going to come through. But for right now, you got to trade the right names, right? And I mean, for here, I'm happy to be trading Amazon. We're waiting for it to go through. If it does take out this high right there for Amazon, then that's where we're going to get out. So I'm not going to try to make a crazy trade here or anything like that. We're going to go short against that. Amazon's been going downside for a while. Let's see if it still respects that. We're going to take an average in one more time up to the upside, but let's stay net short on Amazon here as it's been weak. It broke through 52-week lows already today and more to come right now. So downside in Amazon into the close. That's what I'm looking for. Let's see if it happens.
And speaking of happening, wow, there is something taking out the high, and it's maybe not what you would think. And thank you guys in the chat for this one. Upstart is breaking out to the upside. I don't know. I should have had something better for that one.
That was all right.
I've had all day to come up with something good for Upstart. But anyways, I did try the short off of one level, got away from it once it didn't want to reject. But look at it try to make a run at the 1750 area here. So it's broken 17. Nice little channel break. Probably a little bit cleaner on the 3 minute. You can see this a little bit better. So it broke the channel getting above 17, but it had a wick high up here at 1750. So it still needs to clear that to the upside. I'm not against something to the long that's down 10% at the high of the day. And that just means it has a big gap to fill to the upside. If it pulls back and fails this break, you've got $1 to VWAP. So I'm open in either direction here. If you get a 1750 break that instantly rejects and you're back below 17, there's $1 worth of room to the downside. But I don't see a heck of a lot that is trying to run that isn't this stock. Now people talk about this NRBO. NRBO that had some potential. And I have NRBO on my radar, but the volume is really starting to taper off. Like, I like this breaking the top. There's nothing, like, absolutely. Yeah, the way it went down yesterday, holding higher lows, pretty much the entire session long now holding VWAP. It's absolutely set for a top break. The 195 break takes you into 2. That can be problematic because that even dollar could find resistance. But a 2 break sets up. I think it's not bad if it were to come off VWAP here, but it's nowhere near that high. Whereas, not Roblox, Upstart pretty much is at that high. So my mind's kind of on that 1750 on Upstart a little bit more than that NRBO. It is worth looking at because you're looking for things that are relatively strong in this market. It's going to be hard to find many that are at that high of the day. Two very different stories, however. One was squeezing after bad earnings, and the other is a nice little small cap there that's getting a bit of a push, let's just say.
Push, hit the like button, push that like button for us here today. All right, so honestly, it's 320. We already have the Lucid short, we have the Amazon short, so you kind of know where I'm thinking here into the close. But at the same time, I'm a little nervous about this trade naturally because we're above the 50 period, like we said on the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ might have bottomed down there. I always feel like it wants to try to run up to like even $100 levels. So that 10,900 right there is this level. We've already tested it and we fell back. So I'd like to see this move come back in now and confirm that we don't want to go above that level right now. So, I mean, let's hope. But honestly, this Amazon trade is getting a little spicy now because it's not dropping down. All these are bad wicks. They didn't go down there. You know, we have to watch out for it. It looks like it does want to take this. This is, yeah, see, there it goes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in a row to the upside. So this, there it goes. So I was sort of, so that's a losing trade. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet. We talked ourselves into it, and I'm fine with that. We wanted the shorts. You know, sometimes, again, we have to be flat at the end of every day. So it's like, could we hold this? If I think it's coming back, fine. But just the disaster that could strike on a full position, if it just keeps on going up, like, it's not worth giving my whole day back on that trade. So, excuse me, oh man. For me right now, wow. Yeah, not worth it. Up to 87, possible problem. You know, it could be another short there, but looks like that one doesn't want to go up. I don't know. Let's just continue to look for more opportunities. Definitely Amazon there did not make it. Meta's up 6% still. That could be one that we're going to look at. But yeah, Amazon there did not work on the short, so my bad.
So I'll give, this did work, but I just got another leg at the low of the day on Intel because whatever. So we'll do a bit of a Gronk spike for it. I'm breathing a sigh of relief because the last I heard, it's not going to be season ending for Josh Allen, which, as you can imagine, that's been occupying at least a little bit of my brain here. It shouldn't that much, but yeah, hopefully nothing has changed because that guy's elbow, the entire season rests on it for the Buffalo Bills. But I should have been into Boeing at that 168. So I had said, okay, I like that 167. Didn't quite come back to 67s, but then this is it dipping down to 168.13. I was sitting at 11 and missed that fill. I'm going to step up to the 20s here because I want to get into this. It's looking like it wants to make a run at VWAP, and if I can catch this consolidation without having to take a top break, then I'd much rather do it that way than try chasing this move too far. But you are running into that close. You're getting close to the end of the day, and we do have to have some concern there. Micron could be some trouble holding VWAP, as I noticed Intel get back to that low of the day. If Intel gets to 27.50, I'm going to put a leg out in front of that even, so like 51, 52, and then hold the rest for the break. But Micron now trending back in with just about everything else. NVIDIA here, like I'm looking for signs of strength. I mean, look at NVIDIA just holding these lows, down 5% on the session. So Boeing, it's not up, but it's only down 0.5%. And it looks like it's trying to hold a consolidation. That's why it's the last long I'm looking for here. And then if you're still watching that NRBO, it is on my radar, but it's running out of time for me to like a breakout at the high of the day. Like there's always a point at which I'm not taking a top break. 325 is fine. Like there's still time for it to run. But if it's 340 something, I'm probably canceling that order, like getting close to 350. The volume is starting to taper off here. Maybe it's just something for tomorrow that it could make that $2 run.
So I don't know if you saw that, but I'm going to give a big shout out to Zane. Zane is in the chat right now. So one of our yeah. So again, Zane, me, Neil, Zane, a couple other guys here have all been friends for 30 years. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. So shout out to you, Zane, and we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
the most active fantasy football GM,
oh my God,
literally of all time, is now in the chat.
If you think Sean gets a lot of execution scalping, this dude wakes up in the morning and figures,
still here, man.
How much turnover can I make on my team in that day?
Yes.
Who can I trade? If a guy breaks a toenail, he's put him on the trade block. He is that guy.
Zane, come on, man. Just
over trading, revenge trade. I love you, Zane. Zane was my roommate at university, by the way. I love
Yo,
this
you
cat.
robbed him blind on a trade earlier this year. You got a
Oh,
second.
come on.
Well, what was it for? Yeah, exactly. You know that one. Come on, Zane. You know you want Amari Cooper.
Brothers for life, and thank you for that, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for hooking Neil up, bro. That was a good one on that. But yeah, shout out to Zane. Zane, get back to work. Stop watching.
I got Patrick Mahomes off him too a couple of years ago, right?
Zane, we got Josh Allen off me.
I got Josh Allen off Sean. I got Patrick Mahomes off my boy
didn't
Zane.
Zane trade like Lamar Jackson for like a bucket of footballs or something like that?
Dude, he traded Justin Herbert. He traded Lamar Jackson. He traded Josh Allen.
This is a trading show, by the way.
He traded Patrick Mahomes. He had him.
Yeah.
He traded. Look, man, it's just. Like you said, he's always trying to make a trade. But the good point about that is, though, and I say this to him all the time because we do talk about
And he loves cheese.
Going back and forth, he does love cheese. We call him the rat. Revenge trading is like fantasy football. You can make a revenge move on gambling, like you've got to get it back, like you lose on the Raps covering the spread, and then just the next day you do something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all what works in life. The point is, we're just human beings. We all see that missed opportunity and want to go right back to that well, or overreact to something, or see the worst and panic. And it's first you acknowledge that that's true. That yes, I am going to be revenge trading. I will have that urge. I will panic when something goes 2 cents out of the money or 5 cents in the money. That's part of life. I will overreact when Jamar Chase is dropping footballs in the pre-market.
Yeah.
And I'll take Devonta Smith over him. We're human beings. We'll do that. It's recognizing that that's not the right thing to do. So when you evaluate that decision, you're understanding the human aspect that caused you to make that decision. Like, I will give you one right here, right now. I said, and I actually tweeted this out this morning just to make myself look even more stupid about this. Tesla, Elon selling 195 in play. So what's the first thing that I do? Look what happened at Tesla at the open when I want to short off 195. It just starts defecating on itself. Breaks 190, goes to 186, and I talk myself into shorting it away from the price level that I wanted. It breaks out because I have to short it off this lower high. 193 breaks, and then what happens at 195? 195 break, wick top, favorite entry, consolidation short 1, consolidation short 2, and next thing you know, I'm shorting it at 180 later on in the session. So I'm not saying it's Zane, I love you, brother, but
we're still on Zane?
no, I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
It will happen to you. I did it this morning. Tesla was a fantastic short, and it was perfect at the level I wanted originally. But I got FOMO, got in early, I lost. You fight the market, and the market's going to win. You have to have your plan, because if you don't trade your plan, then you're basically trading whatever the market wants to throw at you and whatever the algos want to throw at you. And trust me when I tell you, you're going to lose doing that. It's just you're not winning that way. You might win once or twice, but you're not going to win the battle. You might win a battle here and there, but you're not going to win the war going against your own trading plan. It's not worth it. Stick to the plan. Don't be Leroy Jenkins, unless it's a Leroy Jenkins in the chat. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, good job on all of that. Yeah, I saw Zane in the chat. Now he's sort of bounced out, so I don't know if he's there or what.
I just chat talk him. We trash talked him for like 5 minutes.
We didn't trash talk him at all, I don't think. We just talked about his trades. I think he's a stand-up man about his trades. He'll admit those,
he is.
right? On there, it's
Super
not,
smart guy,
It's
by
not
the
like
way.
he's ripping off other GMs in our league, where some continue to do that. But what can you do, man? We're all friends, all in all. But okay,
Zane, the most moral guy I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, I want to talk about that Tesla because Daryl, you mentioned that in the chat as well today. And this, if we're gonna have a frustrated trade of the day for me, it was yesterday. It's too bad sometimes if I go like that, my trades will show up, but they're not. So yesterday we were short Tesla 195 right here. Yesterday, and we kept, boom, nice trading. We were short up here yesterday, right? It came right to that level again. So like Neil was mentioning, sometimes stuff breaks against you, but that was a key level that I ignored there while Neil was in the trade, while just in something else. There's only so many names that we can cover here on a daily basis. But okay, let's go. Lucid Robinhood. Let's check back in to see what Robinhood's doing. Of course, we only have now a half hour until the end of the show. And this was a good trade for us early. This Robinhood short, still kind of barcoding here. I still think the short could be in, even on this break right here, 840. So we break, you're short right now? Yeah, so I think like if we could take out that 840 right there, then you're probably good to go on another short. You're below the 50 period. We bounced off 50. Does it want to go up? Nah, probably just wants to go down. And again, I think we talked about sort of the ripple effect of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, and it's still continuing, man. I mean, Robinhood's just another one of those names that was just caught up in this. Like nothing, I don't think, anyways, to do with Robinhood. Just they were cruising, man. They were at 13, 14, couple great days in a row, and then all of a sudden they retrace all of the work it's done back to July lows again here for Robinhood.
I meant to make this point about
they are robbing from the rich and giving to the richer.
That's always true, though. That's always
the rich keep getting richer, it seems like.
At the end of the day, because you can always. I actually even heard a comment someone was saying, I forget who it was. It's like, oh yeah, he can make that back because when you have that much, and he'll still be oodles and oodles and oodles, and he came from the trading world as a quant and is a smart guy in that regard. He'll probably
he ain't making back 15.
Well, not all of it, but I mean, there's fortunes to be had.
Yeah.
But one thing I didn't say about Silvergate and getting stopped out yesterday, I wasn't here yesterday. Like I was taking care of my sick daughter. But I had a stop on the stock, and I think an obvious level, because for me, this didn't even have anything to do with that news yesterday. It just so happened that's what, this is essentially what gets me stopped. Like, look at this level at 50 even. And yes, I've held it for a couple of years, and what goes up must come down, and you shouldn't always bag hold like that. But when a level like this gets taken, it's not just a day trade opportunity when you have a multi-day low getting broken like this on Silvergate. When 50 went, the earnings were also bad. So remember, I crapped on them, took the short off the earnings, said these guys were in trouble. But anyways, I was already looking for that opportunity. But when this did make that open, and again, it opens beneath that, you're just getting triggered off the open. It's not very discretionary. Like you're just getting sold here at 9. Stock opens up, stop order triggers. Is it the sexiest out? Probably not. But 45, whatever. If you sit around and manage it, maybe maybe you're getting out at 47 or 48. But when that floodgate goes, I'm just more afraid of that it could be down at like a 35. And I'm not saying you have to use stop orders. There is some danger. People talk about the flash crash, but there are moments for it. And when that started barcoding off 50, I knew I just got to give it up. And maybe I want to get back into it when it gets to 20 bucks. Who knows? We'll cross that bridge when it gets there. We'll cross this bridge. Hopefully sometime soon,
can cross it.
Which is 27.50 on Intel, which is incoming. I said I'd get on the bid, then didn't do it. So I'm going to get my bid out there at 52s, and if it breaks 50, we're holding. Hopefully Hood can break that 840 to the downside. I don't know if I can continue to, like I said it and then never got into it. That sucks, because Boeing just keeps on grinding higher here, and I can't chase it. It's getting too late in the day. The move has probably already happened. It's done so without me because I didn't really believe in the longs enough, obviously. If I did, I would have been in this one somewhere on the way to that upside. But Boeing, now back at VWAP. That was where I was looking to take this to, so I can't buy it up here, unfortunately. I hope somebody got that because that was a pretty good one. One of the few stocks that holding up relatively nicely. Down on the day, but still holding up pretty well.
All right. Clearing said throat. And then, we went back into Amazon and we were able to get a piece out there on Amazon as it comes back down. We did get stopped out. We did take lower bids out. And so, my price isn't the best price that I have on right now, but heading into the close, let's see if we do fail down. Brennan with the, I don't know if, we'll go to Brennan and then we'll come back with the market on close number. What's up?
Looks like Blockworks guys reporting now that this FTX Binance deal could hinge on FTX.US apparently. So that's Blockworks reporting on the FTX Binance thing.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I think it's only the FTX International. That's
because they're not selling FTX. So you're saying it hinges on it, meaning that they want to also get FTX US. Oh, I don't think they're going to want. They don't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that. I forget the guy's name that's running it, but. Yeah, I see why they want that, but I don't know. But this is why we have Brendan here. So if that's going to be the hurdle, and that's maybe likely to not happen, I wonder what Coin's sort of doing off that. I always look for the sympathy. Like, is this actually bringing it back to the upside? So we're bouncing a little bit here on that news. And I looked over at Bitcoin as well, just to sort of see what it was doing. And it's still sort of flatlining, but Coinbase is seeming like it wants to bounce off that. My understanding is that wasn't going to be a part of it. I don't want to say under any circumstances, but the U.S. part wasn't going to be it. But the international is a much bigger part of the business anyways. So
that's
knows?
What I was thinking. Yeah.
It's like, over 90% of it is that, to be sure. The bounce on it, you kidding me? Missed by 2 cents on Intel. And I'm not going long on Coinbase. Yes, you could have gone long off 47s. Congratulations if you did. I really don't like it. all I see is opportunities to go short every time I look at the stock. And I'm not saying it's going to be here at 47.75, but if there's a big push at the close or into the close and I see 49s again, I might take a swing at that level. Something drastic would have to happen for that to be the case. But yeah, I might take a swing at it. If I see a $1.50 move, I might retrace it. We have a small sell imbalance of 173 million. That almost doesn't matter. I just want to be playing this trend as anything else. And I see people throwing names out there. People talked about Mullen. I said in the chat, gets to 20 cents, I might get interested for another trade in that stock. I think I said that this morning as well. I see DWAC getting thrown out there. My only regret with DWAC is it did kind of go to $25 and I didn't get the short. But that happened when we were in our meeting, so there was nothing I could have done about it. I would never leave a stock like DWAC. I'm not getting into it. Even if I have a stop order, I wouldn't enter a position if I wasn't sitting down. Because liquidity at times can dry up to the point where you might miss your stop. And if you do, there's your day. And trust me, if you miss a stop on this, it could be your day. It is popping to the upside, breaking a little bit, but I don't like longs on this at all unless it's at a very, very significant price level. If it was breaking 25, I think there's a better chance for a scalp trade to the long side there. But breaking this consolidation, I almost feel like it's more likely to fade off than anything else. And then, of course, you have headline risk with results coming in that'll play into that as well.
All right, Amazon's back up now. Oh, that number was 173 to sell on the market on close and balance locator. So, no, did you say anything? I don't know. I mentioned that we would do it when we got back from Brendan. So, okay. We'll talk about that quickly there. All right, yeah. So that's the only position that I have on right now. I did want to relook at Meta. Kind of barcoding here into the close. I mean, it's 336, and honestly, if you're joining us for the first time, these market on close. Thank you, by the way, and make sure you hit the like button. But these market on close orders, this is really what matters, right? And so we're going to see this. I'm going to cancel this ARCA right now, and then just give it over to you and say, like, once we at 350, these are all going to update, and you're going to get some NASDAQ names on here, New York names. They're all going to come out and show you which way the market is favored here for the close. So that can have a big impact on some of these NASDAQ names. So, that's why right now I'm kind of just looking for the best opportunities. Amazon's down 3%. It's hovering around the 200 period. It's below VWAP. I know we just lost on the short. I want to hold it. I'm actually waiting. I'm surprised I'm not more short yet into this name. But I was going to hold it to 87. So I wish I would have averaged in there at 79. That would be much better in the money. But let's not get too aggressive, and let's just wait to see if this does want to pull back a little bit here into the close. So NASDAQ still down 2%. Remember what tomorrow is, man. It's CPI. So that could definitely turn this market on its head. But Brendan with more news.
Decent flush here, guys, on Weber, WEBR. Remember, this is a takeover candidate. Apparently have secured a $60 million loan from possible buyer BDT. So a big flush here for Weber.
Well, but the buyer owned just a boatload. So I guess it would make sense that they would give them a loan, but that means that maybe they're not going to pick up the rest of the shares if they're going to be doing that. That's a huge fail for them through this price. I mean, it just bounced off. A lot of times, the first thing you do is you always zoom out and then see, is there a significant price area that you could get a dead cat bounce off of? But I think this just bounced off $6. Yeah, this pretty much just bounced off $6 because it's probably $6. And that almost feels like if it was going to do that, $5 would have made a heck of a lot more sense. Probably some opportunities. Let's see, even to fade it back if it gets to 670, but it has to come back to the top for that. I saw some questions about Cano. There was one person asking about Cano Health.
Not Robinson.
Not Robinson Cano. Who's I think he's retired now. He's retired now. But look, I don't know the company. I'm not going to be able to tell you anything specifically about the company except to say that the trend speaks for itself. There is a pretty large size seller on the offer and has been, I want to say, for the last half an hour or so. Well, at least the last 15 minutes. The first time I pulled it up, I was going to address the question. And it's this 200,000 share order has just been sitting there. I'm not even sure it's at the same price. They might have, maybe it has been at the same price. It might have broken briefly and then just got right back on that offer. So somebody is pretty inclined to be dumping it at that price, or at least legitimately selling a decent chunk at that particular price. When you see consolidations like this, I tend to be pretty ambiguous about the manner in which you break them. Yeah, sure, if it takes $4 on somehow good earnings tomorrow, then you have a lot of room for it to run. I did double check to see if it had a short float. It does have a decent short float at 15%, so I can see some reasons why, just technically speaking, if you break this consolidation, you might make the long, but that plays both ways in this market. And if you take out that bottom, it can get ugly in an absolute hurry. Look at Clover. Look at any of these types of names. It breaks $3, it gets really ugly here. But yes, 15% short interest. Is it worth looking for a breakout off $4? Sure, but in the middle, don't care. Unless it's breaking a range like this post earnings, it's not interesting. You shouldn't sit inside this range on a $3 stock. And I'll note this seller at 337. Maybe they know a little bit of something. That could end up being an insignificant price in the middle, but not my cup of tea diddling inside middle.
All right, well, what is my cup of tea right now are some banger trades. And we got it back on here for Amazon. So again, 20 cents back into the money, making a little bit back here on what we gave up on our last trade. So there it is, man. We're just starting to take a little bit out. We only have half of what we have left right now, but I'm going to hold the rest of this until the close. Oh, no, okay. Well, now I'm going to hold the rest. I had a bid at 40. Didn't realize that would come in. But hey, when you make it,
money,
it's not a bad thing. So there's a little trade there for us on that as it's coming back. Okay, Amazon, let's go. Nice little move to the downside right now in this market and in Amazon as that FTX deal had nothing to do with that. I was just thinking like, hey, as FTX going downside here, let's check out the coin. I wanted to run to that quickly here because there is that no-fly zone now between Binance, which I tweeted out at 8 o'clock this morning that was going to be no bueno. Down to 334. Give it to them, Brendan.
We're reporting now, guys, they have walked away from this deal, stating that issues are beyond our control or ability to help. So that's from the Wall Street Journal. Again, Binance walking away from this FTX deal. So a little bit of down move there on Bitcoin on that.
And they would have some incentive if it made sense for them to pick it up, right? Like, because it props everything, it props everybody else up. But that 840 on Robinhood broke. So I had a bid in front of 840. I think I was sitting at 841, but now it's gone. It is short sell restricted, obviously, after both yesterday and today. So you take that breakdown trade. At least you throw that order out. You need an uptick first. No uptick, no fill. So it just upticked now, so I was just able to get 39. And that's the issue. When you take a breakdown trade on a stock that's SSR, you might not get the fill on the momentum down. It might get there, stall out, and then you're just waiting for it to print the ask. So you run the risk of getting run back over at said level, but I did just get 89s. So you'll see my price went from having like 49s in there to a price that's like 41 because it still had some of those 49s, and then add the 39s to it. So in the short, off the low of the day on Robinhood, as the market heads lower, finally something actually broke out of the range, and it was to the downside. Intel still above that low, but these are the two that we're working with here. Just checking in on Coinbase, I'm guessing, okay. I mean, I was pretty sure that I was going to, as I got the fill or got the breakdown on Robinhood, that I'd be watching Coinbase have gotten to that 48 and missed it, but one thing at a time. This is probably heading back lower. I just added on the bottom on Robinhood. At 342, no need to be in both of them. If we're dropping, they're both dropping, and I'm already in Robinhood and just reloaded at the low of the day.
I mean, this is dropping faster than Green Bay drops touchdowns, man. I mean, this is, our receivers there can't catch anything these days. And then seeing Aaron Rodgers cry like that is like, get lost, honestly. Oh, okay.
What is?
No, nothing. He's always complaining. He's like, oh, man, they dropped another pass, stuff like that. Why don't you stop throwing to ghosts then? Like, throw it at them.
Actually, you guys got screwed. Lazard was in on that one play.
Yep. I know.
That was a horribly blown call that I don't know why it wasn't reviewed, and no one's even talking about it.
Never even thought about.
It was ridiculous.
I don't think we had a review.
But that turned the game. That didn't even make any sense. He was clearly in the. Anyway,
you know the best Halloween costume is Jerry Jones dressed up as a blind ref. Like, I mean, that's not that kind because it's a blind people. Like, you shouldn't do that. But I thought that was pretty funny when I saw that, and the players thought that was funny. Owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Amazon's still going to the downside. Let's find something else. We talked about some of the weed names today as well earlier, and we kind of got off them. Another one of those election names, marijuana stocks in play today, but Tilray was really hyped up early, and then this is what we say every single time. And I kind of say it tongue in cheek, but it is serious. Like, you can just roll these share certificates up if you can get your hands on them and smoke them, because I don't know if you're going to see some profits from these names. It's still $3 a share, so you don't want to necessarily do that. But, you know, every single bump up for Tilray seems to be followed with this kind of movement down. I mean, look at the daily chart. It can't really get above this 450 area. When it tries, you know, back down to 275, there's a big try there on the Joe Biden. They're sort of pardoning some of the federal minor felonies, I guess. There for marijuana possession and things like that. That got a bump up to 450. Very next day, down to $3 again. Then you get some bump ups here on a possible red wave. That doesn't really make much sense to me, but nice little bump up there, and then now move back down. And then this morning, I guess you get a bump up there because it wasn't an overwhelming win there for the Senate or for the Congress for Republicans. There's a nice move up, thinking, I guess, the Democrat might be better, but I don't know. And, you know, this just continues to be a mess, man. The big winner out of all of this, though, appears to be, and people have mentioned this because I know Brendan's talked about it a couple times, GRWG, Grow Generation Brands, has really been moving a lot on this as well. So what's up, Brendo?
Coming through, guys, on this Wall Street Journal report, they're citing mishandling of customer funds as one of the main reasons why they're walking away. Again, if you missed it, Wall Street Journal saying that it's actually released now. So the Wall Street Journal is out there if you want to, or Wall Street Journal article is out there if you want to have a look at it. But mishandling of customer funds is one of the main reasons.
I just want to point one thing out here. Like, even if you're not into trading, and we're a live trading show, so we're going to put on what we can and do our absolute best because that's what it's all about. But like, Brendan just brought that news. You see what just happened to Coinbase?
What?
Like, look how fast.
Oh, yeah.
This is the market we're in. Like, one headline, timely by Brendan. Robinhood broke the low, but I'm kind of wishing that I just gone back to Coinbase. That's $1.50. $1.50, maybe, I don't know, if you probably, maybe you could have got better. I don't know if you could, but you definitely had at least $1 to $1.50 to that downside, as it absolutely got smoked when those headlines started coming through. There was a halt just now on DBGI. It was halted, opened back up, halted again to the upside. So this is another one of these late day halts. I will not be trading this at 346. If it opens back up, it's likely to be at 4 o'clock. It's indicating a $6 open, but this has been on a bit of a tear. Reverse, it's another one of those like reverse split, you know, just sort of reverse split, you go down. That's what usually happens. So trend down, catches a bit of a bottom, and then it's just like it's given back like 60 to 70% to the downside, catches a bit of a dead cat bounce. So it is kind of that kind of a bounce, which usually to me is an auto fade at the first significant level, which would be about $6.50 to $7, but there's just not going to be a chance to trade that for us here today because there's only 10 minutes left in the session. I'm going to have to get out of Intel at some point. Hood is, because it's through the low of the day, I want to give this a chance, especially with that news. Not that it's related, to continue to flush off that break of 840, but Intel did not break the low of the day, which means I have to respect said low of the day at 27.50. I'll just get out there if it gives me a chance. I'm going to get bids in front of 8.30, 8.25, 8.10, and then $8. We'll see what happens with Robinhood here, continuing to break down toward those lows. But Intel, you know, at some point, it just doesn't want to break out of the range. So it gave you that consolidation short, literally just short the next high on Intel when it's trending down, and then it goes back to the low of the day. But it did not break the low, so I got to get it.
Just looking here, watching Bitcoin, man, 16.3 right now, 16,300. I believe that's the new daily low. And I keep saying all-time low. It's obviously it's not. 52-week low, 2-year low. I think is 104-week low from this morning. So Bitcoin continues to crack lower. But what's been happening right now is a big fail on Amazon. Oh man, it sucks because we did get stopped out of a bigger position on Amazon, but we got back in. You know, I don't have a problem getting stopped out there. Probably should have given it a little bit more room, but again, this is what the problem with trading is, hindsight. And it's just like one of those things where you look back and you say, why the hell did I, you know, get out there? Like, you know, should have given it to 87. But hey, if the market's up to 87.50 right now, then, you know, you feel better about your position, right, that you got out. So now that it's all the way down, I do have a bid at 86 flat. I mean, we are now 60 cents in the money. Hit the siren, hit the damn sirens right now as you get back into the downside here for Amazon. So good trading. We only have a minute until the imbalances. So there's Amazon just falling like a rock right now, right back into its 52-week low that was put on today. So Amazon still can't find any love back here. So yeah, good trading to the downside right now on AMZN for sure. We'll wait for those imbalances, which are going to be coming out in just a second. We'll watch them together, man, when they come out. So let me just move this over so we can watch it. We'll put the symbol over there. We have the NASDAQ right here. So when they come out, we will be looking at that in just a matter of time. So yeah, new day low for, people are saying for Intel. I'm assuming there's a lot of names that are at the 52 or day low. I keep saying 52 weeks. We're so used to that right now. There goes, bless you. Yeah, sorry, Bitcoin man. Down 16.2 right now and still moving lower. So yeah, you know, nasty movements
it's
today.
Getting ugly.
Crypto is dead, man. It's finished for now. You're gonna have to wait for some sort of a catalyst back up to the upside to see what happens with crypto. But yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, like the second I complain about I just got to get out of Intel, stop breaking the low of the day, it makes a fresh low. But I did have that 52 bid, $27.52. I'm now out of Intel, but I'm not out of Robinhood. It just can, like, I don't know where the bottom is going to be here because, quite frankly, there's no significant levels until you start seeing $8 even. I said I'd get some out in front of 30. I just did that. I'm going to get bids in front of the quarters as well. I'll slap a trailing stop on it at some point, but I want to see how kind of long I can hold on to it going into the close, as long as, oh, my bad.
No, I didn't even, I would have interrupted.
I honestly, like this.
We missed them.
These broke the lows of the day at 350, so my bad. I forgot about the imbalances. Let's
Brendan, I don't know what that number was there, Brendo, if you got it or not, but I feel like it's a bid right now. So you got Apple with the buy side. Look at Apple. Watch once it loads up here. Look at that gap. Apple basically gapped up there 20 cents on that move. Microsoft gapping. I mean, didn't we see this last CPI where everything came a bid and we were like, okay, they're buying all the big guys into CPI. So Intel, we just talked about Intel being short at the covering. Day's low. Could be short covering. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. So there's Intel from 50s up to 60s. Not a huge move there. Google as well, back up to the upside right now. I mean, not really, but we were able to get out of our Intel. So the minute I saw that move happen for Intel, we bid out. We got 22. Still waiting for a lower bid. Now we only have like 20% left. A little bit less than that in this position here. So we'll see if Amazon can take out some more lows right now. But yeah, this has been an exciting day. We won't finish at our highest spot because of this trade, but you know, we're pretty close.
I definitely won't because I went long on this. That's silly. It is what it is. Like the market's trending down, and the whole time I was averaging into a buyout. Then eventually broke the low of the day. But it happens. That game is a perilous one. Like when it breaks a level, you've got to get out of dodge. It's the only style of trading where almost guaranteed, like your losing days are typically bigger than your winning days, but you just try to win 90, 95% of the time. That's the kind of style it is. Ford is I don't know if you mentioned it, but it's not all buys. Like Ford's a 3 million sell. Kind of, so I'm back on the bid. When the market bounced a bit there, I got on the bid in front of 30s again in Robinhood to take some more out. But I'm not sure the reason for Ford being a 3 million sell and the buy and bounce. It didn't do anything. So sometimes these imbalances matter and the stock moves off of it. But in the face of all those buy and bounces, Ford is a significant sell. If it stays at 355, could be something there. I'll be tracking this, but kind of stands out of nowhere here, Ford, which I at one point was holding up pretty nicely at the lows like everything else. Brendo?
Just to wrap it up and put a bow on it, guys, a Binance spokesperson now confirming that no deal. They're going to walk away from it.
Yeah, okay, so exactly what we sort of thought would happen this morning. And it's not, I don't feel like, you know, I was a genius that we tweeted that out or anything like that because it was all the talk this morning, right? I mean, you know, and that's sort of what we led the show with. Was with that. Thanks for that. 30 likes on that Sam Bankman-Fried picture that I put up. But, I mean, I wrote this at 8:47. My feeling is that Binance will not like what they see under the hood for FTX and not save them. So we already talked about that earlier. Yeah, so FTT to 0 possibly. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But anyways, yeah, we did talk about that. So I don't feel like anything Brendan's talking about, we're not overly excited about that. I never want to cheer for, like, people that have their funds locked up, that, you know, that get treated unfairly. I mean, I just feel like, you know, everybody sort of got the wool pulled over their eyes, I guess, basically. And I mean, it sucks to be in that situation. I couldn't even imagine if I had even $1,000. I don't know. I mean, the money doesn't matter. But if I had any access to any of my money that was tied up, of course, you'd be upset. And I think everyone has the right to be upset. And it just absolutely sucks. And it just puts questions to something like a Coinbase. You know, I mean, there's no doubt this is down 9%. It's going to be down 9% tomorrow. I mean, I don't see why this shouldn't just keep on going down. I wouldn't actually be surprised if there's more analysts that come out tomorrow with price target cuts.
100% there will be.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So I just feel like tonight people are going to be scraping around, figuring out what's under the hood, even of Coinbase. So,
well, Coinbase, Coinbase in particular, this morning when there was still a chance that there could be a deal and a bailout, that's what Coinbase was trading off of. Like that, and it was getting downgrades at that point and breaking fresh lows and big monster levels on the daily, as a matter of fact. So I look at this and like, look, if that CPI print comes the wrong way, I think we all know which direction that would be. If it runs hot, like why wouldn't you be testing that 40 low? Just what reason is somebody buying Coinbase today or tomorrow? Especially if the print comes poorly. I'm not coming up with a fantastic reason for it. Everyone's got to be scared.
I actually forgot about the print tomorrow.
It's what's so crazy about this market. There's so much moving, and this story is just what's going on in crypto was so big that it's easy to forget. CPI, which has been the biggest trading opportunity and move maker in this market for the last 6 months, has been when we get the inflation print. Yet somehow this story, and rightfully so, this is what's leading the markets. I am getting more bids out here because Hood, it gets down to 830, it catches a bit of a bid, and it's only 5 minutes left to go, so I'm not sure it's going to break too much lower than this. Still giving it some opportunity to do so, but that 840 break, again, it just keeps on trending to the downside, and I'll kick myself for waiting for $9 when it was giving you this at 885, because if this was Intel, I would have had no troubles, like just short the pop. Whenever it gets to a nice consolidation level, just make that short anyways, even if it's not your nice round number of $9 or gets right to VWAP. Just join that trend and find a way to stick with it, because this hasn't really had much of a bid. There was one solid bounce off $8.50, and if you managed to pick that one, congratulations on the one long that would have worked out for you on Robinhood today.
I'm going to say something here. Based on the movement today, you're down 2.5%. I think the trade tomorrow, like if you want to try to make like a hero play, I mean, why not grab Q's weekly calls, weekly, so expiring Friday, so tomorrow's Thursday, expiring Friday, right here, 280. 280 calls, let's see a 10% move in the NASDAQ. You know, what if the CPI comes lighter tomorrow? What if it's a 6 print? You know?
If it's a 6 print, that's going to be the easiest long it's ever been.
And I'm just thinking like...
Because everybody's disaster selling, or selling, I should say.
Right, yeah. So I'm sort of thinking that, you know, you could have some weekly calls here that come into play tomorrow. So, I mean, you could also, you know, hedge it with a put down here to 240, something like that. But I just think like that could be a pretty decent trade. Like, put in a couple $100 or whatever you're comfortable losing, I guess, into it, and then just to see where that print comes. I don't know. I have no idea where it's going to go, but again, some of this talk, it would justify some of the talk about, you know, not a pivot, but that 50 points versus 75 next time, and then maybe you'll get a 25 print on the rate hike. So. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
What happened to AMC?
That could be an idea there. What happened to AMC?
Was that on the imbalance locator?
Nothing happened to it. It's not doing anything. Oh, AMC, I'm still on it didn't refresh. Oh, a little bit of a shot up there. Yeah, I don't know.
Random.
I don't know. Big movement there for AMC. We could check if there is anything. Yeah, I don't see anything on the imbalance locator for AMC.
Hey, Ford's still a sell. What's going on?
Decent move. Is Ford still going down here on that sell? So 1330?
It's not really moving, though.
No, sir, it's not doing anything. All right, there's only 2 minutes left. I'm going to get out of this Amazon trade. I mean, I don't have a choice now. We can't hold overnight. So Amazon, hey, man, forget about it. Let's just ring the register right now. Put a bid, get filled right there. So there it is right there. We'll end the day with a nice little winning trade to go on that one. So all righty then. What's up, Brendan? It's earnings.
Yeah, quick update, guys. A couple of minutes to go here. Let's have a look at what's to come tonight and tomorrow morning on the earnings board.
So yeah, you get some big ones in there. Like, come on, like Rivian and Neo, after what we've seen today, oh, it's gonna be crazy. And then Context, Logic, and Root, and Beyond Meat. Like, okay, so if the number comes in light and you actually do get a decrease, some of those stocks could absolutely boom. But if they report poorly, and we've talked about bottom breaks, there are going to be some pretty significant ones. Root has a big level that could get taken out to the downside. I don't know if it's the best one. I haven't even looked at Context Logic, so I have it's 63 cents. So anyways, that's already dead, so it doesn't even matter. But Beyond Meat, that's definitely going to be in play for us. I know you mentioned AstraZeneca could be okay.
Yeah.
I also saw this, by the way, pay safe at $1. I like anything when it trades around that dollar level. So when it gets to that buck, there could always be that little bounce play on pay safe at $1. Was that last trading 118 last I checked? Maybe it's already down there. But yeah, Context Logic, I didn't even realize it was as cheap as it is. But pay safe that $1. Sign me up. If I see that level, I usually like to play that long first, then a reversal if it takes it out to set downside. And it should get there, either bouncing off of it or running through it on earnings.
All right, Tony's in the building, so he's going to hit that. Looks like we got Amazon a little bit too early, but we got event with 2 minutes left. It's now back down to $86 for Amazon. If you held it, good job. As here we go, man. It's only 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Matt Stafford enters concussion protocol.
When did that happen? Did we even lower the bell for Tony there? Just make
Tony,
him reach for it?
Nah, man, the bell lowers itself for Tony. That's for damn sure. So, all right.
He uses the force.
What a good day here as we look to tomorrow. It's fun. I know you're just kidding. Oh, and thanks again, True Trading Group. Thanks for the sponsorship of the closing show. They're going to be going live right now. You can join True Trading Group there as well. Find the link up there in the chat. But, what I was saying there was, remember when I said about you could buy those weekly calls and I just said a couple $100? That's what I'm talking about. It's fun money, right? Like, there's no way. Henry Z, I know you're just playing around. He's like, that's great financial advice. It's not. It's like if I'm going to sit here and lose a couple $100 in the market trading every day or make a couple $100, that's just like a swing trade idea where I think the risk is to the upside, meaning that everyone I think is thinking short. So it's just one of those things where if it goes up, it goes up. Tomorrow's one of those days. I know all the guys behind us are going to be jacked up, ready to go for that. So if you're going to be throwing around a few thousand shares or whatever tomorrow in the market, you can always, trade options as well.
Well, it kind of goes without saying. That's why you said options. Like people have heard me say that, I might take a shot with a Mullen long off 20 cents, but there's nothing fundamental. Like, I'm not saying I like the company. I just sometimes you see a trading opportunity. It is, and that's what it's all about. Like, that's very different.
You have to be contrarian a little bit at some point, right?
Of course, because at some point the risk to reward does favor the other direction on a trend.
Is that true, Nish, right now? So he just bought weekly calls 280 for 18 cents. Okay, so let's just see if that's the true price.
We
can watch. Yeah, Nish did. So what's up, Nish? Let's see.
Nish?
N-I-S-H. Yeah, Nish. As in I wish, Nish. Did we go to Brendan yet for
We did not.
the rundown?
Sorry.
Okay, Brendan, let's see how we finish.
That's my bad.
All right, ugly. Let's call it what it is here, guys. Here we go. 2% plus, almost right across the board here. S&P, the Dow, pushing 2%. These two led, though, the composite and the 100. NASDAQ, 2.5. Russell 2000, yeah. Ugly, ahead of, as you guys were saying, what is to come tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern?
Yep. It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a monster. I think we'll probably be on about 5 minutes early. We didn't really say that earlier today, but we are going to be on at 8. We're going to be on at 8:25 tomorrow, Justin. So maybe if we could tweet that out, Liz, write that down, tweet that out, put it on Instagram. 8:25 tomorrow. We'll be a little early ahead of that number because we're here for you, and we want to trade that with you. And hopefully this time, I'll hit sell instead of buy or vice versa. So, okay, ready to go. Tesla falls 7.2% to close at its lowest level since November of 2020. So, pretty nasty there for Tesla. Thankfully, I'm not in too many of those shares, but Tesla to the downside. So, All righty then. Let's wrap this thing up, man. Wow, Dow closes down 600 points. Nasty day. All right, for everybody here at Trader TV Live, I want to thank the midday show. Ian, Sharif, and Prad were on that today. Thanks to Liz for all the work that she's been doing. Katrine as well. Thanks to Lucas. Thanks to Fahad. Thanks to everybody, man.
Justin.
Yeah, Justin as well. Yeah, Justin's somewhat
He's
of
all
a He's aight. So thanks to Justin for that as well. And for everybody, I want to thank Bears versus Bulls as well. We don't do that enough. So thank you, my friend, for everything that you've been doing on the chat and the moderation and all the notes that you're sending us throughout the day as well. So for everybody here at Trader TV Live, sleep well. It's Super Bowl tomorrow. Ciao.
Yeah, ciao.